of Christmas this year. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be that special moment that says, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, why this Hoosier lawmaker is refusing committee assignments in the next Congress. Plus, John Herrick reports on Hoosiers and their medical debt and what IU's head football coach is expecting from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this weekend. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
How and why? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Big questions in Madison, Wisconsin. The day after a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School left a teacher and a student dead.
I'm feeling a little dismayed now. I'm so close to Christmas. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever.
Police Chief Sean Barnes says 2 of the 6 other students wounded are in critical condition. The shooter was a 15-year-old female student.
She died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Fox's Garrett Tenney reports from Madison.
So far, the shooter's parents are cooperating with the investigation. Detectives searched the 15-year-old girl's home and are piecing together a timeline leading up to this tragedy, trying to figure out how the teen got the gun. And the biggest question, why they carried out this tragedy.
House lawmakers hope to get more answers today from the FBI and CIA in a briefing for the Intelligence Committee about thousands of drone sightings in recent weeks, mostly over New Jersey. National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby tells Fox.
We have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast.
TikTok is going to go into the Supreme Court, hoping justices block a law that would ban the social media app in the U.S. if TikTok does not cut ties with its Chinese parent company by January 19th.
But on January 20th, Donald Trump can extend the deadline for that sale, and it sounds like he's open to it.
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok.
The TikTok ban has to do with bipartisan concerns that the Chinese owners are mining data from U.S. users.
Fox's Peter Ducey. We get an update of the economy this morning showing retail sales rose more than expected last month, 0.7% year over year. The increase 3.8% in November. Something for the Federal Reserve to consider as it starts a 2-day meeting that may end up with an interest rate cut tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
She says she's not budging. Radar is clear. It is 39 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. One of your members of Congress says that she is taking a back seat in the next Congress, at least for now, as Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says that she will not accept any committee assignments, not until she sees Republicans make progress towards governing, as she put it. Instead, she plans to invest her time in the new Department of Government Efficiency. There are 6,000 untested rape kits in Indiana. That's the second most in the entire country. State lawmakers want answers as to why there's such a backlog.
We operate in silos. And so the very best thing to do is to take away our silos and to come together and thoughtfully understand an issue. And so that's what this proposal is. It's not a blame game.
State Rep Victoria Garcia Wilburn, who says that she has authored a bill requiring the state to create an annual report on rape kit testing. A federal judge in northern Indiana has rejected another stay of execution for Joseph Corcoran. The ruling found that Corcoran is competent, and his attorneys argue that he is too mentally ill to be executed. Indiana ranks 11th highest in the U.S. for the number of people with medical debt. John Herrick reports.
Sam Sneidman is with the United Way of Central Indiana.
There are opportunities for state governments and for providers and insurers to come together to think about how they can better serve consumers.
Which is why he says he has plenty of reason to believe that both lawmakers and Governor-elect Mike Braun will come together this legislative session to alleviate some of the medical burden Hoosiers are dealing with. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana basketball legend Dick Van Arsdale has died. He passed away at his home in Phoenix on Monday. Van Arsdale was 81. Game week for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Indiana Hoosiers. IU head football coach Kurt Signetti preparing for a hefty rushing attack from the Irish.
They run the quarterback quite a bit, and he's an excellent player. I've been watching him for a couple years.
Referring to Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard, the Hoosiers are 7-point underdogs for Friday night's matchup. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Yeah, Kurt, it's a crash on the northeast side, westbound 465 at Allisonville Road. It blocks the left lane that has traffic on northbound jammed up past East 56th Street, almost to Pendleton Pike. Delay time right now at 27 minutes. Eastbound 465 stop and go before and after Allisonville Road. Westbound 70 slow from an earlier crash after rural through the north split. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit FVGradio.com.
If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now. 800-428-7054. 800-428-7054. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $398. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. And you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $398. What are you waiting for? Call 800-428-7054. 800-428-7054 and give us your answer.
The preceding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's full-service jewelry store.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies here for your Tuesday. Quiet and cooler. Today's high 46. Mostly cloudy this evening. A few showers after midnight. A low down to 35. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
39 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, December 17th. It is 7 minutes after 9. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. My name is Casey Daniels. That is Jim Roberts in for Rob Kendall today. Let's talk about Donald Trump's press conference yesterday. He addressed reporters at Mar-a-Lago, and it was supposed to be just a quick announcement about a $100 billion investment from SoftBank, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But it turned into a pretty lengthy press conference. You know, Trump, he just can't help himself. He says, well, let's take some questions, and then they just keep going, and he just keeps answering. And can I just say it? Trump taking more questions from the press than Biden has in the last 2 years combined. Neither Biden nor Harris could have fielded the array of questions that Donald Trump answered, and they covered a lot of topics as well.
Well, that's what Trump does. He's in his element. I mean, press conference is just another way of campaigning. And Trump is an amazing campaigner, not a great debater, but he handles press conferences fabulously, and he loves doing them. I mean, you can't shut him up usually. Usually it's the press looking at their watch going, all right, we got to wrap this up here. But, you know, he loves his press conference.
Yeah, he does. He likes being the center of attention. He fielded nearly 24 questions. They covered issues from the border wall to vaccines and autism, and all three major cable networks aired the event live, and he was talking about everything. Let's start off with his answer to the question about drones. He said he's canceling his trip to Bedminster because the drones are flying over his property.
First of all, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and the ports? And it seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
I can't tell if he's joking or if he's serious. Like, did he really have a trip there planned and he's just saying that as one of his off-the-cuff remarks or not? But regardless, he's getting national briefings. He's getting security briefings. And I just keep coming back to he knows. He knows.
This is what Trump does. He always inserts himself into what is being talked about in the country right now. The drones have taken over everything on social media and the regular news media. Everybody's talking about drones. And so Trump's got to figure out a way to say, hey, how can I get myself in there? I'm going to hold a press conference. Let's talk about some drones and talk about how I'm not going to be there. But you're right. As president-elect, he's getting daily intelligence briefings. So he knows exactly what Biden knows about the drones. He doesn't seem too concerned about them, but smart on his part. You know, Trump's always looking for his own angle on how he can benefit from this politically. And while, you know, Karine Jean-Pierre and Biden and Kamala, they're not saying anything about it, he's going to stand up, have a press conference, and talk all about the drones.
And he's going to say, why aren't they telling you, the American people? They know. You should know. It seems very clear that our government knows what these drones are doing. Bedminster, by the way, about 26 miles from an arsenal, which is the headquarters of a U.S. Army Combat Capability Development Command. So maybe eventually Donald Trump will tell us what the drones were all about. A lot of different theories about the drones. Is it a psyop? Are they trying to pass another spending bill? Are they looking for radiation of some sort? It's unnerving, to say the least, to think that your government knows and they're not telling you.
Well, and our government is smart enough to know that when they don't say anything, the media and the general public will start making things up. And apparently they're okay with that.
Yeah.
They're okay with all of these ridiculous, crazy conspiracy theories about what these drones are doing or who's flying them and what they're up to. And they're going to keep growing and multiplying all of these theories as long as the government says nothing and as long as they keep appearing in the sky.
So one thing he said is that he's a different person. Everybody wants to be his friend this time.
You're meeting with Apple CEO Tim Cook, and did you talk about tariffs in that meeting?
Meeting with who?
Apple CEO Tim Cook.
I did have dinner with Tim Cook. I had dinner with sort of almost all of them, and the rest are coming. And this is one of the big differences, I think, between, we were talking about it before, one of the big differences between the first term. In the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. I don't know. My personality changed or something, but
I don't know if his personality changed. I think people realize they want to be on a winning team, because what could happen if they don't? But everybody's meeting with him. I mean, you've got Zuckerberg meeting with him, and Bezos, and now the guys from Apple.
That's funny you said that. They don't want, everybody wants to be on a winning team, and what happens if they don't? When I heard that clip, it reminded me of Tony Stark in the movie Iron Man, where he's standing in front of that mountain range about to fire off the Jericho missile, and he says, is it better to be feared or respected? Is it too much to ask for both?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that there is a combination of both of those things in all of these people bending the knee at Trump, whether it's Trudeau or Tim Cook. There's a little bit of respect, and there's also a little bit of fear.
Yeah. So he said that he would consider pardoning the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams.
Would you consider pardoning Eric Adams?
yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, you know, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded. They see you're all stars, and they say, I want to upgrade that person from NBC. I'm going to upgrade him. And that would mean you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I don't know. Somehow, I would. I mean, I'd have to see it because I don't know the facts. I think he was treated. You know, it's very interesting when he essentially went against what was happening with the migrants coming in. And, you know, he made some pretty strong statements like, this is not sustainable. I said, you know what, he'll be indicted soon. And I said it not as a prediction, a little bit lightheartedly, but I said it. I said, he's going to be indicted. And a few months later, he got indicted. So yeah, I would certainly look at it.
Okay, well, this is interesting because you've got Eric Adams, who was with open arms welcoming migrants to his sanctuary city. And now he has a possible indictment, and he's saying, oh, Donald Trump, save me. I mean, it's just peak Democrat doublespeak. What it is.
And it's similar to drone talk. We've been inundated with pardon talk for weeks and weeks now, and my guess is that's going to be the case until Biden's finally out of there and Trump's makes a decision. I mean, a lot of people think he'll pardon a lot of the people from January 6th right after he gets into office. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I think we're going to continue to be inundated with pardon talk for the next couple of months here. Anytime anybody is up to something or may have broken the law or currently has an outstanding case against them, that's the first thing the press is going to ask. Oh, Biden, hey, Joe Biden, you going to pardon him? Oh, Donald Trump, are you going to pardon him? Eric Adams hasn't even been convicted of anything yet.
Right. How are you, is it going to be a preemptive pardon like Biden did with Hunter?
Or like Biden's talking about doing with people like Fauci and Liz Cheney. So more pardon talk. That's what's going to keep us warm over the holidays. Drones and pardons.
Okay, well, Eric Adams, he had his own press conference, and he surprised a room full of liberals who were declaring that the CEO shooter was radicalized by leftists that hate America. Listen to this.
Think about the shooter. Ivy League. Grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. Everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? Our children are being radicalized to hate the America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people. And, people could, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team. And we better start acknowledging and focusing on that.
Many people are saying they just don't even recognize Eric Adams anymore. It sounds like he's singing a completely different tune than what he used to be.
Well, and what's interesting about this assassination of that CEO is that, it's a lot of people from the left and Democrats that have been, cheering Luigi and saying the CEO got what came to him and all these sorts of things. And there's talk about and clamor for reviving a new war on the 1%. And I keep hearing Occupy Wall Street coming up again. What's so bizarre about that is that all of these rich people and rich institutions, those are the Democrats today. The Democrats are the party of the rich. The script has been completely flipped from 20 or 30 years ago when it was the case with the Republicans. Now all the rich are Democrats. So you've got these lefty whack jobs like Taylor Lorenz and the women on The View trying to justify the killing of this rich CEO and going after the rich. They're the rich. They're the Democrats. And so for Eric Adams to kind of call out that trend that's been happening out there, good for Eric Adams on speaking the truth on this one.
Well, he says that it's not accidental and it's more systemic, and you have to realize that some of these cultural elites, they've been planting these seeds for a long time, but there are also many bright kids who go to universities and they don't come out as completely different people either. There's this kid, and he's saying, listen to this. I mean, talking about youth, this kid says that Trump hasn't done anything since winning the election.
I'm just laying here in thought. What has Donald Trump done since he has become president?
Oh.
He became president a little over a month ago when he beat Kamala Harris. And what has he done? What has he done, MAGA?
Does that not scare you? Yikes. He's not president yet. He has not been sworn in.
As you and Rob have said many times before, not everyone should have a platform. Not everyone should have a podcast.
This kid is one of them.
You're not aware of the fact that Trump didn't become president the day after the election.
Who wants to tell him?
Just let him go.
Let him go.
Actually, I'm going to have to find that kid and follow him. I bet he's got tons of interesting stuff on his TikTok account.
But it just makes me wonder, how does somebody like this make it through life?
What was the audio?
Like, don't you have to take government class in high school to graduate anymore? I did.
What was that audio you and Rob had right after the election where the kid was saying, "That's it, I'm leaving the country, I'm moving to Hawaii"?
Moving to Hawaii. Different guy, by the way.
Different guy. There's plenty of them out there.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Kamala Harris, nobody voted for her in a primary. Forget about the general election. The Democrats just kind of threw her up there after they forced Joe Biden out.
Democrat voters decided that Amy Klobuchar, who looks like everybody's mean grandma, was more likable than Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
They thought Eric Swalwell, who farts on national television, was a better choice than Kamala Harris.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
This Christmas, as you're picking out gifts for loved ones, take a moment to think about the future gift you can give yourself. The gift of a secure retirement. Howard Bailey Financial is here to help you unwrap the possibilities of peace and confidence. With our free retirement toolkit, you'll get practical steps and insights to plan for the years ahead. From saving strategies to planning tips, this toolkit is like a financial compass for your future. And best of all, it's completely free to download. Don't wait until next year to start planning. Text GIFT to 888-262-1104. Download your free retirement toolkit and give yourself the gift of financial confidence this holiday season. That's GIFT to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Howard Bailey Security, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. And then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
This is Kevin and Kim at Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. This special time of the year, family is important, and we are here to keep yours warm and happy, just like we have for 40 years.
We appreciate your business throughout the year, and we are always here for you if you need us. So from our family and our entire team at Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prepare to deal with difficult people and situations at Sandler Training's 90-minute online seminar Tuesday, 2:30. Proceeds to Salvation Army. 317-678-8800.
Show your true love and spoil her with that one special Christmas gift from Pierce Jewelers that will say, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. Two young
Continuing on with Donald Trump's press conference yesterday, the actual intent of it was to announce that SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son.
Nice. Well done.
Thank you. Will give $100 billion investment to the United States, which is expected to create 100,000 jobs.
And we've just concluded a very productive meeting. And today I'm thrilled to announce that SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum. And he's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election.
Okay, so the venture is supposed to focus on artificial intelligence, also infrastructure, with the investment fully deployed before Trump's second term ends. And Son stated that he has confidence in the U.S. economy. He's greatly increased this since Trump's election, leading to this huge investment. During the press conference, Donald Trump looked at him and said, "Can I get $2 billion out of you?" Trying to up it, of course. Look. Son said this guy knows how to negotiate right there in front of all the cameras. He's like putting it on him right in front of everybody. Can you give me $2?
Yeah, Trump literally wrote the book on negotiating called The Art of the Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a nice contrast to how we ended the last break with the audio, that TikTok audio of that kid saying, "What's Trump done since winning the election?" Trump's not even in office yet.
Right.
And he's bringing in $100 billion from the Japanese.
Yeah.
I love the contrast of this story between Biden and Trump. With Biden, it's all about spending billions of taxpayer dollars on things like the CHIPS Act. You know, Todd Young loved that. He never met a spending bill he didn't like. Sure, it's not his money. Let's just spend it all. Contrast that with Trump, not even in office yet, and he's already gotten a private investment deal done, not taxpayer dollars, private investment to build out the infrastructure, and most of this is supposed to be building out an infrastructure for AI, artificial intelligence. Now, look, you know, Trump had his spending problems too when he was president on the first time, so I'm not going to give him a complete pass on this. And I do think it's a good idea to start building high-tech chips in this country. I think the concept of the CHIPS Act is great, absolutely. But does it always have to be done with taxpayer dollars? No, and Trump is proving that right there. And look what happens when it is done with taxpayer dollars. We had the story about, during the election, about rural broadband and how the United States has spent billions of dollars to, you know, pipe out rural broadband, and not one person has been given rural broadband.
Well, by the time they get around to that, it won't even be necessary because Starlink will be used more than anything. But I am really proud of you. 926 and already a Duke of Spendingburg reference is made. Rob would be so proud of us. Congratulations.
Hey, Rob started, what was it, last week when you guys spent an entire day crapping on Todd Young? I figure I can at least get one in. Maybe I can get another one in before the end of the day. But then you look at, you know, we had the story where Pete Buttigieg was out there defending the billions of dollars that we've been spending to build EV charging infrastructure.
Right, and there's like, what, eight or nine?
Eight of them got built.
Yeah.
So a government, you know, again, proving the least efficient way to spend money is always government. Do you think SoftBank is going to spend billions of dollars without getting any results? Of course not.
Because it's their money.
It's their money, and they're going to lose their jobs. If I'm a government employee and I'm spending taxpayer dollars,
who cares?
Who cares? Doesn't matter. In fact, you know what? If that happens, I'll likely get promoted. At worst, I'll get some cushy job somewhere where I don't have to do anything.
You'll burrow. That's what it's called. It's called burrowing. In the federal government, you mess up one job, you just bide your time, you burrow, and then you land somewhere else.
But in the private world, SoftBank, they're going to have to deliver results. All those people that work at SoftBank know that, and if they don't, they know they're probably out of a job.
Son expressed hope that Trump would bring global peace during his second term, and Trump also announced that any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the U.S. would receive expedited approvals and permits, and that does include environmental approvals. Okay, so we have to talk about TikTok. It sounds like Donald Trump is okay with it. He's used it, but everybody else is saying shut it down. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Pat Sullivan for the Michaelis Corporation, talking with Richard Michaelis about foundations. What are signs of a foundation issue?
Cracks or bowing in your basement walls, uneven floors, or cracked brick? Call Michaelis for a free inspection. We are locally owned for almost 40 years. We offer a lifetime warranty and 0% down on foundation repairs.
Foundations, basements, and crawl spaces, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIX-INDY.
Downtown Indy, dressed in holiday style and glowing with bright lights and festive sights all season long. Gather with friends on Monument Circle to enjoy stunning holiday lighting and audio-visual presentations every night of the week. Create new memories while dining at award-winning restaurants just steps from your favorite attractions, sporting events, and performances. Come winter wander in downtown Indy. Come for an event, stay for a holiday experience. Visit IndyWonderland.com for all the details, including curated downtown holiday itineraries. That's IndyWonderland.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Ukraine assassinates a general. Radar is clear. It's mostly cloudy and 40 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. A Russian military leader was killed in Moscow. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov died as a result of a bomb hidden in a scooter. And according to Reuters, a Ukrainian security source has claimed responsibility. The bomb went off as Kirillov left a residential block in southeast Moscow this morning. The Russian state news agency TASS says it's been told the bomb was triggered remotely. Kirillov's death comes a day after Ukraine charged him with using banned chemical weapons during Russia's military operation. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
President Biden is weighing in on yesterday's school shooting in Wisconsin, calling the bloodshed shocking and unconscionable. Biden offered his condolences Monday to the victims at Madison's Abundant Life Christian Church in Wisconsin. The teenage girl who committed the shooting shot and killed herself during. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Well, the losing streak continues on the Dow anyway. The Dow is off 207 at the opening bell to 44,055. The NASDAQ is also down 55 to 22,352. And the S&P 500 is down 22 to 6,131. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Discover Barkeep Vodka, the cleanest and smoothest vodka thanks to its unique compression filtering by Indie-based True Essence.
Top shelf quality and value, and you're supporting local Indiana farms. Grab a bottle at any Indiana store or visit barkeepvodka.com.
Steel holiday savings are here. Make room under the tree for gifts at the top of their wish list. Right now, power up the holidays with great deals on long-lasting tools. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at steelusa.com.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Express the heartwarming message of Christmas this year. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be that special moment that says, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
TikTok has asked the Supreme Court to block a law that could ban the app in the U.S. by January 19th. This, unless its Chinese owner, ByteDance, sells the company. Donald Trump met with the TikTok CEO, Xi Chu, at Mar-a-Lago, and TikTok wants the Supreme Court to review and overturn this federal appeals court ruling that they're citing national security concerns, and the law would require ByteDance to sell TikTok or force Google and Apple to stop supporting the app on their platforms in the U.S.
Look, I've said this from the very beginning because we've been talking about this TikTok ban for, 12, 18 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I am completely against this TikTok ban from a standpoint of principle. Individual companies shouldn't be singled out by our government and just indiscriminately banned, because today it's TikTok and tomorrow it could be the company you work for whatever reason. Is our data being sent to China? Yeah, probably. Are they using it against us? Probably. But if that's so awful, then write a law that outlaws those specific activities and apply it to all companies. And if TikTok violates that law, then prosecute them and let them have that day in court. But people have built entire businesses on TikTok, and most of them small businesses. I'm not talking about, some stupid influencer who has a ton of followers and then sells dietary supplements that are a waste of money. I'm talking about legitimate businesses. 99% of them are mom and pop operations selling stuff like, handmade belts and bird feeders and soaps and candles. Singling out specific companies to put them out of business is picking winners and losers. So if there's a problem, if it's a national security interest with TikTok, then write a law that applies to every social media platform and apply that across the board.
So the U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. refused to delay the ruling, which upheld the law. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on January 19th. Will it just not be available in this country anymore? I'm sure there's another app called Neptune, which is already trying to be the replacement. They're already on TikTok saying, when TikTok goes down, be on Neptune. But here's something interesting to consider. Elon Musk owns the rights to Vine.
Yeah, Kevin, do you remember, you're a young guy, do you remember the social media app Vine?
Yeah, actually, that was big when I was in high school.
Which is a video sharing platform.
So Vine was pre-TikTok. So what, high school 10 years ago or so, Kevin, and it was all about short video clips.
Yeah.
And it was really popular, especially with young people, super popular. Twitter, before Elon Musk bought it, Twitter bought Vine and just shut it down because they viewed it as a competitor. But Twitter technically still owns Vine.
And when you say Twitter, you mean X. You mean Elon's X.
You know what? I still call it the Sears Tower. I still call it Deer Creek. I still call it Twitter. Twitter technically still owns Vine. So if TikTok goes away, don't be surprised if all of a sudden here comes Vine.
Right.
And Elon relaunches Vine as the viable replacement to TikTok.
Yeah, Vine was like the original TikTok.
It was, and it was great. It was funny. It was interesting. It was goofy. It was all of these user-generated pieces that, most of them were stupid, but every now and then you'd see one that just, had you on the floor laughing. And I'd be shocked if Elon isn't preparing for that right now.
He probably already has it ready.
He's probably got the app built. He's probably got marketing, engineering behind it, everything. The day TikTok goes away, next day, boom, all of a sudden Vine shows up in the App Store.
So TikTok emphasized the public interest in preserving free speech, and they also warned that a ban would lead to over $1 billion in lost revenue from those small businesses that you had mentioned, and nearly $300 million in lost earnings for creators, and that is just in 1 month. Donald Trump was asked about this, and he actually had a favorable view of TikTok.
Are you to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
Who?
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok had something to do with that. Now, Joe Rogan did, and some of the other people that were recommended by my son Barron, he knew names. I said, who is that? Tell me, who's that? Dad, you got to be kidding. I can't believe you don't know. And I did those interviews, and it was actually sort of cute. Do you want to know the truth? But we did them, and that had an impact. But TikTok had an impact, and so we're taking a look at it. But, we won youth. Republicans are always 30 points down in youth. I don't know why, but we ended up finishing. There was one poll that showed us down about 30. We were 35 or 36 points up with young people. So I have a little bit of a warm spot in my heart, I'll be honest, yes.
It's interesting that Donald Trump is saying he's got a warm spot in his heart for it because it was beneficial to him. If it didn't help him at all, he probably would be saying something different.
Wasn't he saying that? Wasn't it Trump several years ago that
Yeah.
was saying we've got to ban TikTok because he wasn't on it and it wasn't better? Yeah, look, Trump's full of crap just like all the other politicians are in a lot of ways. Now, is he better than Biden? Of course he's a lot better than Biden, but we've got to call him out when he's full of it, and he's full of it here. And to his credit, he was smart enough to use TikTok to his advantage during this most recent election. Look, the concept of a conservative politician who's almost 80 years old that was able to dominate TikTok with the Trump dance. That cannot be understated. That was a massive social media cultural change that Donald Trump brought to everywhere. And people were doing the TikTok Trump dance with YMCA playing in the background. And you better believe that that helped Donald Trump in the election. So now Donald Trump's all for TikTok. Let's fix it.
Well, he did. Okay, so he's meeting with the CEO, the president of TikTok. You know, we talked about how he's the master of the art of the deal, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure he's coming up with some plan. He's going to make them sell, and they're going to believe it was their idea all along because that's what Donald Trump does.
That'd be the most brilliant way to do it. Make them sell and then have them believe it was their idea all along. I'm going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it.
Let's talk about somebody else's social media really quick. Here is your Secretary of State, Diego Morales.
Happy Monday, Hoosiers. Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales here, starting my day bright and early in our beautiful State House. Remember, our doors at the Secretary of State's office open at 7 a.m.
That was it. Just the hours. This is what, the third or fourth time in a row that Diego Morales has posted some sort of video where he said pretty much nothing?
Yeah, a couple of months ago, I was filling in for Rob, and we played almost a video clip, an audio clip that was almost exactly the same. He recorded a video, put it on Facebook, talking about the Secretary of State's hours. This just reeks of somebody in his staff probably said, hey, Mr. Secretary of State, you really should be on social media more. And he was probably like, oh, okay, well, what should I do? I don't know.
It's your monthly post. Get to it.
I don't know, but you got to do something. All right, well, I guess we could just, give information that's on the Secretary of State's website, like our operating hours.
What he could have talked about was voter turnout in Indiana. Fewer Hoosiers voted in the November election compared to 2020. Turnout was a little higher than 2016 and 2012. Nearly 3 million Indiana residents voted. It turned out to be about 61% of people that are registered to vote. It was a small drop. 65% in 2020, 61% this past year.
Okay, so I pulled so 70% of people that are of voting age in Indiana are actually registered to vote. And then 61%, was it? 61% of those people actually voted. So ballpark 60% of 70 is.
What are you doing?
I'm trying
to.
I'm trying to figure out like how because it keeps getting smaller. You've got registered, people that can be registered to vote, then people that are actually registered to vote, and then people that actually go out there and vote. So it's around, rough math, it's around half of the people that are of voting age actually went out and voted in the most recent presidential election.
76 counties experienced decline. Especially Hendricks County. Madison County saw a 7% increase in turnout. Marion County.
Here we go. What do we got? How'd Marion do?
Largest decrease.
Ooh.
Yeah, almost 37,000 fewer voters compared to 2020.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no kidding. What's motivating them to go vote? I mean, you're talking about mostly a Democrat area.
Yeah, Marion
right?
County heavily.
And you've got Donald Trump at the top of the ticket.
Yeah, but they had Kamala they could vote for. So is that more of an indictment of?
That's an indictment on Kamala Harris.
Yeah, it is lack of enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. The fact that 37,000 fewer people in Marion County voted in the presidential election. Absolutely, that's an indictment of Kamala Harris because this is a heavily, heavily Democrat county.
Van Jones says that Trump is smarter than all of us. We look like idiots.
Everybody keeps, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know how I know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
For people who still can't figure out.
Yeah, look, Van Jones.
How Trump won.
Van Jones is a crazy liberal, but that doesn't mean that he can't be right on specific points. And I think as a country, we've fallen down to this rabbit hole where if we disagree with somebody politically, then I need to be against every single thing that they say or stand for. And that's never the case. And that's why I'm the number one fan of the Kendall and Casey show, because you guys call it as you see it on both sides. And when both sides are terrible, you say something like that. And occasionally somebody from the other side says something right. Van Jones is absolutely right about this. Trump is incredibly smart when it comes to marketing and positioning. And it's not always easy to see because he can act so crazy sometimes, and he's got these live tweets that he sends out at 2 o'clock in the morning in all caps. But it's like, you guys talked about this a lot. It's like when the debate happened and Trump said they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. The immediate reaction was, oh my gosh, Trump's lost his mind. How could he say that? It's so terrible.
He's bringing a spotlight on immigration.
Trump was brilliant to say that because people weren't talking about immigration. And all of a sudden, in one sentence, in front of 50 million people at the debate, Donald Trump brought immigration right to the top of the list again. So it's great that other people from the other side can recognize this, because Trump still does not get enough credit for the smart marketer and positioner that he is.
He mentioned he's best friends with the richest guy in the world. Elon Musk just bought a place down by Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, did he really? How did I miss this?
Adjacent to
best friends. Best friends.
So Indiana's biggest college football game between the state's two best teams goes down on Friday in South Bend. Let's talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnacast, the left clutches the pearls, and we sit back and laugh. See you at 7 p.m.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? And according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. We trust Bill, and you can too. If you save more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy who we trust right here in Indy. 317-932-9912.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he tells us why many homeowners are giving up their air conditioners for a high-efficiency heat pump.
By removing your air conditioner and replacing it with a heat pump, you are not only saving by getting a higher efficiency air conditioner, the heat pump works in reverse and saves you money in the wintertime as well.
See if a heat pump is the right move for you by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Breathe in the wonder and joy of Christmas, where the extraordinary often shines through the ordinary moments, through kindness, care, and compassion. At Franciscan Health, we provide care rooted in faith, love, and dignity, and believe life is a gift and every moment is extraordinary. So take a breath and give thanks as we celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Merry Christmas. Franciscan Health. Love your extraordinary life.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
I love it. Gives me chills.
I know.
Every time.
If you're an IU fan, I feel sorry for you for this segment. Oh, yeah. According to Vivid Seats, Friday's showdown between number 7 Fighting Irish and the number 10 Hoosiers has an average sold ticket price of $707, inspiring a lot of sports fans to hit the road.
3 days. That's all we have to wait. 3 more days.
You're so excited for this. So let's talk about some of the traditions that happen at Notre Dame on game day. You've got trumpets at the Dome. That's always really fun to do.
I love it because the way the traditions and the timing of them, if you're at the game, are set up, you can just go from one to the other. And it starts with the player walk, and you can watch the player walk, and then you walk over to the administration building, the Golden Dome, and you watch them do trumpets under the dome, which is fantastic. They play the Notre Dame fight song, and it's just, I mean, amazing. And then after that, you walk over to Bond Hall, and the band does this performance at Bond Hall, which is always fun. They do 3 or 4, maybe 5 songs, and then you get a little bit of break, and then the band marches from Bond Hall all the way into the stadium, and you can follow them the whole best game day experience.
Big parade.
Love it. Love everything about it.
You got the players walk, which is always fun as they walk across the campus. And I wonder if they're going to do the Midnight Drummer Circle. This is something they typically do when there's a Saturday game. They'll do it on Friday night. But because this is a Friday night game, I'm curious to see if they'll do this on Thursday night.
Unofficially, I guarantee you somebody will be doing the Midnight Drummer Circle on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Thursday night at midnight. I guarantee you there will be some students that will do it because it is a tradition that's done before every single Notre Dame home game. And if we've got to do it on a different day of the week because we're playing a Friday game, they'll find a way around that.
Could there be anything more Notre Dame than to have finals week, the week of this football game? So those football players they're in finals this week. So many people think they're focusing on the football game. They're really probably focusing on their classes.
But that's what happens when you play athletics and you go to Notre Dame. You are going to have a grueling academic schedule, and you're going to have a grueling athletic schedule, and everybody knows that going in, so here we are.
So you might remember this scene from the movie Rudy. This is where Tom Denon, he's portrayed by an actor in this scene, but he's doing an announcement at Notre Dame Stadium.
Who called that play? Well, I got to tell you, it's just occurred to me what the student body has been chanting for the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's the name Rudy. Dan Rudy, a walk-on senior, subject of a feature article in yesterday's student newspaper, The Observer. After toiling for 2 years at Carnegie Field and
So you know Tom Denon, right?
I do know. So that's actually Tom Denon, who's in the movie. And so Tom Denon is a sports legend in South Bend. We lived in South Bend for many, many years. He was the sports director at WNDU Television for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then when we moved to South Bend, he worked at my group of radio stations. He did a sports talk show on WSBT AM. I worked across the hall on one of the music stations. And Tom Denon was an interesting guy. He was obviously in that movie, Rudy. Later on in his life, he had a lot of health problems. He liked me. He had a lot of health problems later in life. He was in a wheelchair. And so there was this little side door, and I could see it on a security camera. And so every day when he came into work and I was, on the music station, I would see him show up in his wheelchair on the security camera. I'd go out and, open the doors for him and let him in. And so he was always a nice guy to me, but kind of a cranky old guy too. And I love seeing him and Rudy when we watched that movie. We watched Rudy last week. Mm-hmm. I better fire it up again. We're watching Rudy every single night until Friday to get us ready for this Notre Dame IU game. I cannot wait.
Well, if you're going to be heading to South Bend for this game, prepare to hear the song Here Come the Irish. Since 2003, this song has become a staple in South Bend and on the Notre Dame campus.
It's played before kickoff.
Yes.
Every game. It's played throughout the parking lots at all the tailgates the entire time. And I'm here to tell you, Kevin, the only reason that song is popular is because of that woman right across the desk from me there, Casey Daniels.
I respect it.
It's not a joke. You discovered that song. It was on some CD of Celtic music at the bookstore and integrated it because your radio stations were playing the games and you integrated it into everything you did. And Casey Daniels, we have to thank for that song.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today. Today.
Great holiday savings all month at Tom Roush Lincoln. And during the Lincoln Wish List sales event, select 2024 Lincoln Navigators now $12,000 off and get 0% for 60 months. And all these great deals include the Lincoln Conquest Trade Assist. And don't you forget, all Lincolns come with complimentary pickup and delivery service. So get some of those holiday savings right now at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP $105,845. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, an arrest in a fatal stabbing of a girl from Monday, plus why this lawmaker says she's sitting out until she sees some changes. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Will they learn new information? I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News House lawmakers on the Intelligence Committee will get an FBI CIA briefing today on all the drone sightings in recent weeks. Republican Congressman Greg Steube tells Fox Business.
If it is classified, obviously they have a duty and obligation to keep it classified, but the American people, especially people in New Jersey and New York, have the right to know what these things are.
Multiple agencies, including the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, in a joint statement, say the objects in the sky are a combination of drones used for commercial, law enforcement, and hobbies, as well as, quote, manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. The agencies are encouraging Congress to take legislative action to expand counter-drone authorities.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A lot of kids still traumatized in Madison, Wisconsin, the day after shooting in their school.
I just heard sodding, and there was a teacher. She was screaming like, my leg, help, help.
Well, a teacher and a student were killed in Abundant Life Christian School, and 2 of the 6 people wounded remain in critical condition. The shooter is dead, a 15-year-old girl who killed herself.
We are certainly speaking and talking with the parents who are cooperating to determine if they were gun owners and if they had guns.
Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says they're also trying to figure out why she attacked her school. An accused serial killer in New York, Rex Heuermann, has just been charged in a 7th death in what are known as the Gilgo Beach killings. The new murder case involves a woman whose remains were found in 2000. The Federal Reserve starting a 2-day meeting to assess the economy, which might lead to an interest rate cut tomorrow. And here's something they'll consider.
Retail sales rose 0.7% in November, a healthy pace of spending and much more than expected. The month included Black Friday, Cyber Week sales, and other holiday shopping discounts.
That's Fox's Ginny Casola. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They've made an arrest. It's sunny and 41 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A girl was fatally stabbed Monday near Arsenal Tech High School in Indy. IMPD officer Tommy Thompson.
Detectives quickly started canvassing the area, looking for security, speaking with any community members, witnesses in the area.
The girl's name was Annabelle Trujillo, and police say that she was stabbed by a teenage boy. Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says that she is not accepting any committee assignments once the new Congress convenes in January. She posted on X that she will also not caucus with Republicans until she says they show signs of governing. She does plan to invest time in the new Department of Government Efficiency. She clarifies, though, that she is remaining registered as a Republican. The execution of a convicted murderer, Joseph Corcoran, will not be delayed. Harrison Silcox reports.
A federal judge in northern Indiana did not agree with Corcoran's lawyers that their client is too mentally ill to be executed. The judge ruled that he's competent enough to waive his appeals and allow the execution to happen this week. Corcoran was convicted in the late 90s for killing 4 people in Fort Wayne. He's scheduled for death by lethal injection this Wednesday. His lawyers are appealing the ruling. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The state has a backlog of over 6,000 untested rape kits, the second most in the U.S. A bill created by State Rep. Victoria Garcia Wilburn would require state agencies to create an annual report detailing the backlog.
That could be anything from addressing rape kits, addressing the crime labs, addressing the workforce shortages.
She's talking to Wish TV there. With the playoffs all but out of reach for the Colts, head coach Shane Steichen is trying to focus his team for a strong finish to the season.
You know, you can't be yourself in this league, and that's what we did yesterday. We have to learn from those times. I mean, they're hard times, obviously. And like I said, we got 3 games left guaranteed to us. We got to get ready for the Titans.
The Colts face the Titans this coming Sunday. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house. Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
Many of life's starts begin in a seemingly simple place, your driveway. It's the first commute to that new job, the drive to that first date, the first mile of that long-awaited road trip. And with an auto loan or refinance from Financial Center, you'll find the comfort and reliability you crave as you navigate toward what's next. With fast approvals and local lending, you'll be on the road in no time. Get started at fcfcu.com/auto today. Subject to credit approval and underwriting guidelines.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's jewelry experts.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 17th. It's 6 minutes after 10. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. I'm Casey Daniels. Rob Kendall has the day off, and joining me in the studio is the dude, Jim Roberts. And we head over to the WIBC hotline because we have Governor-elect Mike Braun joining us from Washington, D.C. This is a silly question because technically you're still a senator, but you're also the governor-elect. So do we call you Senator Braun or do we call you Governor-elect Braun?
Well, I'd say it's about 50-50 because at the tail end of this week, even though you're technically a senator until the end of the year, and the new senators get sworn in, I think, on the 3rd of January. And, of course, I don't get sworn in until January 13th. So you can take your pick. I'll listen to either the two, and many still call me Mike. Okay. So there you go.
Well, I'm going to go with Governor-elect because you're coming home. Although you are in Washington right now, when we were setting up the interview, your people said, nope, he can't be live in the studio because he's in Washington, D.C. for a vote. Can you tell us what you were voting on?
Well, we're here anticipating the vote, which is a good part of the job, is marching down from your office to the floor to cast votes, generally on, at this time of the year, we won't do any of the cabinet votes. That'll be for the new Congress right after the first of the year, but a lot of nominations for judges, both district and appellate, get run through, and that's what's going on, and that's a function of Chuck Schumer. So there won't be many conservative judges being seated here in these last few days, but it's the way the game's played, regardless who's in power.
How do you feel about the farewell address that you gave to the Senate? I watched it. You were very complimentary to your staff. How did it feel for you?
You know, it's kind of bittersweet because you heard the track record there, and so often that doesn't get picked up. Mainstream media, even in your own state, didn't tout much of that. But, I mean, that was 6 years, and you look at what we accomplished as a freshman Senate office, and that tells you why you don't need career politicians here. You need people that know how to get things done in the real world, as I refer to it. And our 6-year stint, was a kind of testimony to that. So bittersweet. Good news is many that came out to D.C. came from Indiana, and most of the critical positions, they're going to be coming back with me to serve as governor. So I've got the benefit of that kind of experience. And even though I'm going to emphasize what states need to be doing versus the federal government, which has gotten so far beyond its charter. I mean, in any poor enterprise, if they got access to credit, they borrow money to fill in for their bad performance. And of course, that's on steroids. And this is the only place you're a partner in the media business who's not there today. He's talked about it more than anyone. And that gets done fairly responsibly at all lower levels of government. This is the only place that's got the printing press in the basement. It's run by career politicians, and people are still willing to lend you money. Those are no good reasons for anything actually being judged as being doing something well. And I can see it up close, and I'm really looking forward to showing what states can do. We've put way too much responsibility on the federal government. It's a bloated bureaucracy that doesn't work well. So I'm going to not miss that.
Governor-elect Mike Braun is joining us, and you have emphasized reducing inefficiency in government. And the outgoing governor, Eric Holcomb, had about 2 different dozen cabinet members, and it seems that yours is going to be a little more streamlined. Can you tell us about the cabinet that you're putting together?
Well, it is going to be consolidating organizationally to where fewer people will be in the top spots that directly report to me. And then you've got Lieutenant Governor, you've got the Adjutant General that runs the National Guard, and the Superintendent of Police. But those other silos, which are going to be much fewer, allow for a snappier, faster-footed government. And those kinds of things really need to be done out here. And, of course, I'm anxious to see what DOJ does with Musk and Ramaswamy. But at least state government has got the guardrails, in our case, of a balanced budget amendment, and you've got fewer moving parts. It's less ideological, but that doesn't mean you don't get bureaucratic creep into even fairly well-run governments statewide. And you're going to have some blue states that push the envelope to where they don't have the guardrails and roll maybe more like the federal government. And, of course, people are moving out of those places. They've got extremely high tax rates, very heavy regulations. We got a neighbor to our west that would be in the big 3, including California and New York State. And I think all 3 of them are losing population. Sooner or later, frustrated citizens vote with their feet, and a lot of individuals from Chicago are moving into Northwest Indiana. But in terms of what we're doing here is we're going to run every agency in as lean a fashion as possible. We're going to try to do more with the same or less, which is a hallmark of any successful business, and, try to look to places that we've maybe gotten a little heavier than what we need. Maybe some places will need more resources and people, but in general, on a $22 billion annual budget, half of which is K through 12, there's going to be a lot of room, I think, to run things better.
Governor-elect, I want to follow up on the incoming cabinet because on the surface, it looks like you're adding an extra layer of management with just 2 of those 8 cabinet members serving as agency heads when, in fact, you ran on making government more efficient. Help me understand that a little bit better.
Well, that you're making the assumption there that, number one, we're going to try to consolidate some of those agencies over time to where you take a lot of that duplicating overhead out of similar sub-agencies. I mean, we've got 80 of them, 30 to 35 of them major ones. And the fact that I've consolidated these into fewer reporting to me directly means the folks that maybe were running an agency now are going to be as well as running these new verticals. It made sense to do it in a few cases, and in others it made sense to actually have specialists there. How that's going to get paid for is very simple. We're going to end up having a lot fewer employees in the long run, most likely, if you're running the entirety of it more efficiently, even though that structure there would look like you're doing the opposite. All I can tell you is that if you're sprawling with a lot of folks that would be reporting to me or my chief of staff, that's inefficient by nature. I'm going to give a lot of entrepreneurial latitude to these 8 cabinet positions, secretaries, and you're going to see the efficiencies cascade downward, and I know that'll work. The system we had now, there's no way your top leaders could really focus on the breadth of government, and I feel real good that that is going to yield big dividends.
Sounds like your agency heads are going to have a lot more work ahead of them. You have vowed to collaborate closely with the state legislature, and you know Rob Kendall is not here today, but I have to ask you, you've laid out your agenda. How confident are you that you're going to be successful, especially with property tax reform?
So with that, which was the kind of keystone of healthcare, broadly, reform, and education workforce, property tax will be a one-time fix if we get it right. We may not get everything we want out of the gate, but from the governor's office, I'll be leading that that's the most important thing that we need to do to deliver immediate results that is more technical in nature. I mean, it's very simple. We need to cap it in a way that is a real cap that worked when we didn't have inflation. My focus has been on the bill itself and then resetting it in a place where it was closer to what it was pre-COVID. So you're not kicking the most vulnerable homeowners out of their home because they can't afford the property taxes, and then have transparency around the whole process. That is narrow in scope. And if you saw recently or listened, the Senate was saying, well, that may take a while. We may have our own ideas. I think they rephrased that a bit. So that's because we've already been weighing in. Yes, we'll listen to an idea if you've got a better one, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be content with this not getting done to the greatest extent we can get it done in this session. So that's still a narrow bill that we know mostly what has to be done. You're going to have some haggling. The local governments and school districts are going to, want something done to mitigate it. Very simple. You shouldn't be asking for more than the growth of your economy from any taxpayer in terms of what they pay. And you need to have a system that actually works if and when we have inflation again.
When the property tax reform bills are passed, and notice I said when, not if, I'd just like to nominate Rob Kendall for the Sagamore of the Wabash Award. But
well, you know what? I actually heard that discussion because that was either Monday or Friday of last week, and I was in a vehicle listening to my favorite radio station, okay? And I heard it loud and clear.
I just want a pen that it was signed with. But we before we let you go, we appreciate your time, Governor-elect Mike Braun. One last question for you. Big game coming up on Friday. Notre Dame, IU. I think I know which way you're leaning, but who do you want to win this game?
Hey, you expect me to actually answer that question?
I do. We give the tough questions here.
Yeah. I guess I'll make this comment. The irony that after all these years, since 67, 68, that we've had anything like this to talk about around IU. And then I saw the stat that Notre Dame has beaten us 20 out of 21 times. And the last time we beat Notre Dame was in 1950. And I'm from the most Catholic place in the state of Indiana. All I can say is I generally like the underdog. So I'll let it at that.
We appreciate your time, Governor-elect Mike Braun. Thank you for joining us on 93 WIBC.
Once again, you've heard the bell and answered the call for the 30th anniversary WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army.
Sam is still counting. We will have an official total.
Presented by Financial Center. You've helped families in need throughout central Indiana.
Certainly, Merry Christmas for many in our community. $506,349.
Thank you from Financial Center and 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. It's the holiday season, a time for family, friends, and staying cozy inside. But if your home is drafty, it's hard to stay comfortable. And with all the gift of giving happening this time of year, why don't you give yourself the gift of lower energy bills with new windows from Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, if you act right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Plus, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments. Now, some restrictions may apply, so call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Don't wait. Make sure your home is ready for the winter and the holidays. Call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574 to schedule your free in-home estimate or visit UWD.com. Universal Windows Direct, UWD.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Oh, you know what time it is? It is Tuesday, and this time, every Tuesday, we do a little feature we like to call
True Crime Tuesday.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. You knew the title.
I'm the show's #1 fan.
That's true. So for today, we're going to turn to Steve Holland. And is that correct? Did I say your name right?
That is correct.
Yeah, Steve Holland. And he hosts a podcast. It's called Great Lakes True Crime. And today, we're going to discuss what happened to 3 young sunbathers who disappeared at the Indiana Dunes State Park 57 years ago. And Steve, it would seem to me that this story is about the beach, abortions, and horses. But why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what we're talking about with these 3 young sunbathers?
Yes, absolutely. So July 2nd, 1966, which was a Saturday, July 4th weekend, basically, 3 young women, Renee Brule and Patty Blau, who were both 19, and Ad Miller, who were 21 years old, they left from their suburban Chicago homes to spend the day at the beach at Indiana Dunes State Park, which was about an hour's drive away from their home. So they got there around 10 a.m. They had stopped to get some suntan lotion on the way there, found a spot on the beach about 100 yards inland on the beach from the lake, and were sitting there about noon, about 2 hours after they got there. They were apparently got on a small boat. All 3 of them got on a small boat with a young-looking guy, a small boat about 16 feet, and that was pretty much the last time they were ever seen. And no one really knows what happened to them.
So all 3 of them went on the boat, or was one of the sisters left behind?
From what we know, all 3 of them went on the boat. An amateur photographer actually happened to be taking home movies that day and apparently got some footage of all 3 of them getting onto this boat.
Okay, so that's where the beach comes in. They disappeared while they were at Indiana Dunes State Park. Now it's a national park, by the way, Steve. Okay, so we get the beach side of the story. There was also this element of horses. Tell us about where horses come into play.
Yeah, so all three of the young women had some interest in horses in Chicago. A couple of them worked there. That's how they all got to know each other. And there was some shady deals apparently going on in the horse world back then. There was a real evil dude named Silas Jane, who was the brother of the owner of the horse farm that these women went to. There was a lot of intimidation. Silas even eventually went to prison for having his brother, the owner of the horse stable, murdered. So these are some bad guys that they may have been mixed up in, and that leads to one of the theories about what may have happened to the women.
Okay, well, let's get into one of the theories.
So it's possible that either one or all three of the women witnessed some type of crime that Silas Jane did. Perhaps it was talked about that a bomb was planted in George's car, and one of them may have witnessed it. And maybe for whatever reason, they decided to have all three women killed. Big problem with that theory is that it seems unlikely that if they were going to have them killed, that they would follow them to a super busy state park beach on July 4th weekend, an hour away, and have them somehow lured onto a small boat to be killed. It's a very elaborate and not too smart of a plan to kill three women.
Do you buy into that theory?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I don't really buy into any of the theories, and I don't know that anybody does too much because nothing really seems to make sense.
Yeah. So I guess the entire beach was searched along with the grounds of the marsh area. All the cabins on the grounds were searched all along the trails for the women, but nothing was ever uncovered. So let's get into the next step of this story. We mentioned the beach, we mentioned the horses, and now let's get on to the abortions.
Yes. So it was rumored that either one, maybe two of the young women were pregnant. And perhaps pregnant by a married man. And this was 1966, so abortions were not legal at the time. It's talked about and reported that there was an illegal offshore abortion floating clinic.
Oh, wow.
Based out of nearby Gary, Indiana. Yeah, and that it was on a houseboat. These procedures would be conducted out at sea, and perhaps the three young women got onto this small boat to be taken to the larger floating abortion boat. And the theory is maybe something went wrong. Obviously, it's not a medical clinic. And because the providers were performing an illegal abortion, something went wrong. Maybe the woman died. And the theory is that they had to kill, the other two women or all three of the women to cover up their tracks.
Yeah, because they were witnesses, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they would have been witnesses in that case.
We're talking with Steve Holland from the Great Lakes True Crime Podcast. Steve, talk to me a little bit about the police investigation. What was there a police investigation, and where'd that go?
This is one of the issues with this disappearance. The search for the women, it was mentioned that there was some Coast Guard searches, some horseback searches. There was a deep search conducted, but it didn't begin until July 5th, so 3 days later.
Ooh.
So, as you know, 3 days after essentially a crime was committed, a lot of evidence could have been, removed, gotten rid of, or even if there was an accident, if it was an accidental drowning or a boat crash, the evidence of that may have been gone in 3 days. So there was a police investigation, but at first it was what you hear so much is, well, maybe they just don't want to be found, and I'm sure they'll show up eventually. And by the time the investigation started, it may have been too late to uncover anything. So that was not great. And, of course, this is 1966, so we don't have the modern police technologies that they have today. There's no cell phone data, of course, anything like that would help an investigation today. So that didn't really go very far as I can tell.
So the captain in the case has said that 57 years later, they're still following up on any leads that they may have reported to the agency. Are there a lot of leads still coming in?
Not that I am aware of. But it is an active investigation. One of the ways we know this is I mentioned that film that had been turned over that showed the women getting onto the boat. That's never been released to the public, so that is presumably still being held in evidence. And the Indiana State Police still has an open investigation on this case, but I can't imagine there's too much leads being reported this much, time later.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up because, of course, the lakeshore stretches from Illinois to Indiana and Michigan. So this definitely happened in the Indiana part, Indiana Dunes State Park.
Yes, and it was very busy, but it was reported that there was maybe 5,000 to 6,000 boats in the southern Lake Michigan area that day. So it's very difficult for anyone to pinpoint, the specific boat that the women may have been on or what happened to it. If they had drowned or even been murdered and thrown overboard, you would think that at least one of the three bodies would have washed up on the shore. It's very common that eventually the bodies will show up. So we don't know. We really have no idea what happened to them.
Hey, Steve, Casey and I lived in northern Indiana for a long time, in the Indiana Dunes a lot of times in our lives. Lake Michigan can get pretty rough sometimes. And if this was a 16-foot boat, if those waves were really rough out there, is there a possibility that this could have been an accident? Is there any information you've got on what the weather and wave conditions were on the lake that day?
Yeah, I've read some different things about the lake conditions that day. I don't think it was anything too terrible because the beach was really crowded that day, which would point to the fact that it probably wasn't terrible weather. But as you said, we know Lake Michigan, it's very deep. It's got huge waves. And personally, I think it's possible that the boat, for whatever reason, took on water and sank. And just that's why they're, maybe we're at the bottom of the lake. And 3 days later, when the Coast Guard started searching, they may have been down at the bottom of the lake and not being able to be seen.
Yeah. And there is a strong undertow many times on Lake Michigan as well. That's really interesting. Well, if anybody has information, they're asked to contact the Westchester Police Department. Steve Holland, we appreciate your time this morning. Where can people find you and your podcasts?
It's called Great Lakes True Crime. You can go to my website, it's greatlakestruecrime.net, or just search Facebook or Twitter for Great Lakes True Crime. You'll find me on there as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Have a great one.
Thanks. You too. Thanks for having me.
Steve.
Yeah, it is True Crime Tuesday. It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Guys, what are you waiting for? For that special Christmas gift, let Pierce Jewelers bring that sparkle back into her life with a diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why did she do it? It's 42 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. Police in Madison, Wisconsin are trying to determine a motive for yesterday's fatal school shooting. A teenage girl was the shooter.
I don't think that whatever happened today has anything to do with how she or he or they may have wanted to identify. And I wish people would kind of leave their own personal biases out of this.
That is the police chief in Madison there. She killed a teacher, a student, and injured 6 others at Abundant Life Christian School before police say that she turned the gun on herself. Americans are doing a lot of shopping this holiday season, more than expected. Fox's Jenny Casola.
Retail sales rose 0.7% in November, a healthy pace of spending and much more than expected. The month included Black Friday, Cyber Week sales, and other holiday shopping discounts. The forecast was for a 0.5% increase. Excluding auto sales, the increase was 0.2%, suggesting car sales contributed to the jump. Jenny Cosola, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? And according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. We trust Bill, and you can too. If you say more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy who we trust right here in Indy. 317-932-9912.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela from the Michaelis Corporation. How do you make sure your crawl space is dry, clean, and secure?
Have Michaelis come for a free inspection. We are a local family-owned business that's been serving Indy for over 39 years. Plus, we offer 0% down on crawl space work.
Make sure your crawl space is clean and dry. Foundations, basements, and crawl spaces. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIX-INDY.
Breathe in the wonder and joy of Christmas, where the extraordinary often shines through the ordinary moments, through kindness, care, and compassion. At Franciscan Health, we provide care rooted in faith, love, and dignity, and believe life is a gift and every moment is extraordinary. So take a breath and give thanks as we celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Merry Christmas. Franciscan Health. Love your extraordinary life.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Show your true love and spoil her with that one special Christmas gift from Pierce Jewelers that will say, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails.
The phone number for the Tuesday edition of Voicemails, 317-684-8444. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Before we get into voicemails, can we backtrack just a bit?
Sure.
We had Governor-elect Mike Braun joining us at 10 o'clock, top of this past hour. If you missed it, go back, rewind, listen to the podcast. Just wait till Tony Katz is on the air.
Nice.
But did you hear him say that he listens to his favorite show, and he was talking about the Kendall and Casey
I
show.
did. This is when you were pitching Rob Kendall to receive the Sagamore of the Wabash Award.
He didn't say station. He said show.
Yes. No, we have Mike Braun on record saying that his favorite radio show is the Kendall and Casey show. This is a man who spends half his time on D.C., so he's listening to Washington, D.C. radio as well. As well as the entire state of Indiana. It's his favorite show.
Kevin, I think I know what you should write your article about today.
Yeah.
That the governor-elect went on record saying that his favorite radio show was the Kendall and Casey show.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's promo-worthy, too.
Put out a press release.
I agree. Okay, let's get to some of your phone calls. And this first one is about the drones.
I just heard over the news that now, oh God, what a place, America, that they're arresting people that are sending up their own personal drones to figure out just what the hell the drones are. They're out there the size of SUVs. So it's okay that we can put them in jail, but we can't get an answer from our own government of what this is. How much are they going to do to try to destroy Trump's next presidency? It is beyond belief. And I look all the way back to Obama. So thank you. See you guys.
Okay, so that's interesting. He brings it back to Donald Trump. That's what some people have been saying, that this is an effort to sabotage Donald Trump in some way. The public concern over the drones has clearly escalated with the drones flying over New Jersey and other East Coast states. The White House just recently, within the past hour, has come out and said that they want Congress to pass legislation that would give greater authority to the federal, state, and local governments to address the drones that fly in U.S. airspace. So more surveillance of you, American?
Entirely possible, but it's what we talked about earlier, is that when the government, when something like this is happening that's clearly caught the nation's imagination and attention, and you don't come out and say what it is, people are just going to start making stuff up.
We'll fill in the blank.
We'll just make something up. Just start guessing, creating conspiracy theories. I was never all that concerned about it. The initial reports were, there could be a Iranian mothership off the East Coast that's sending these drones in. That never made any sense to me, and for one simple reason, all of those drones have flashing lights on them.
Yeah.
Like FAA aircraft are required to have. If this was something really bad and nefarious and up to no good, they wouldn't be announcing themselves and following FAA regulations by having these lights where these drones could so easily be spotted and photographed at night.
Well, many people are concerned about what the drones could possibly be looking for. It's not necessarily the drones that are the problem. It's something else that could be the problem.
Sure, it could be a distraction. Absolutely.
Members of the House Intelligence Committee, they received a closed-door briefing yesterday on the drones, and officials from FBI, CIA, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence are going to be providing a briefing today at 2 p.m. So we'll see if we get any answers. We had a conversation yesterday about Nancy Pelosi, how she fell and broke her hip on Friday when she was in another country. And here's a call regarding that.
Hi. I just wanted to also say that Nancy was flown to Germany to our Army base to have her surgery on her hip done there. So that's extra expense we paid for her to get well. Love your show. Bye.
Yeah, so she was in Europe with a bipartisan congressional delegation. She was there to mark the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge during World War II. It's when she fell during an event, fractured her hip, and I had commented, so we sent her over there to be a delegation on the taxpayers' dime. And so now this caller brings up a good point that she was flown to a hospital to have surgery.
Yeah, at a U.S.
on the taxpayers' dime.
Right, she was in Luxembourg, got injured there, was flown to a U.S. Army base or a U.S. Air Force Base hospital in Germany to have the actual hip replacement surgery and do her recovery there, and then she'll be flying home. It's been a busy week for Nancy Pelosi.
Does your health insurance cover that?
Does my health insurance cover flights from Luxembourg to Ramstein Air Base in Germany? I'll have to look, but I'm going to guess and say no.
That would probably be declined.
It would be out of network at the very least.
Yeah, okay. Many conversations about the men at work Christopher Cross Toto concert that is coming to Ruoff. When are they going to be here? August 6th.
Not soon enough.
Next year. Here's a call about that.
Men at Work won a Grammy Award for Best New Group in 81 or 82, whatever year they had their first hit. And I'd be surprised if they were not the headliners. Toto goes back to the 70s. Men at Work is the 80s. Christopher Cross is the 70s. And he's a one-hit wonder, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, boy.
Not to demean or underrate any of the three. I like all three artists, but Men at Work were big, mega big, through about 4 years of the 80s. But a little bit of trivia.
Okay, so Men at Work. They've got Down Under, Who Can It Be Now? Be Good Johnny, Overkill, It's a Mistake. And then Colin Hay, their lead singer, went on to perform solo.
Colin Hay had a pretty decent solo career and had some really good music as well. I've loved you and Rob talking about this for the last week. I'm fascinated by it. I am fascinated by how Rob thinks that Christopher Cross should be the headliner. You know, I love Rob. I'm Rob's #1 fan, but I've never met anybody that has such awful taste in music as Rob does. I mean, it's just terrible. It's the worst.
This guy calls and says that Men at Work won a Grammy. They've all won Grammys. Toto, Men at Work, and Christopher Cross.
Hey, look.
It's the Grammy tour.
Milli Vanilli won a Grammy. That's not the stamp of approval that you might think it is.
Do we have time for one more phone call, Kevin?
I think we got to get Hammer up next.
Okay. All right. Hammer's going to join us. It is 93 WIBC.
Oh, yeah. Hammer and Nigel show. We cracked the mic at 3:06. The biggest stories in Indy. We're getting closer to an execution from the state of Indiana. Should we tailgate? 93 WIBC.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
Got family coming over this holiday season? I do. It's Terry Stacy, and before they get here, I need a couple of rooms painted. Cardwell Do It Best Home Center has got a full line of best look quality paints. Produced by Sherwin-Williams and on sale now through Christmas. $10 off per gallon. Paint and primer all in one with custom computer paint matching. $10 off on best look quality paints. That's a deal. At Cardwell Do It Best. Ready for winter? Snow shovels, rock salt, and ice melter all in stock. Plus lots of great Christmas gift ideas, including Milwaukee M18 Fuel cordless power tools. Cardwell Do It Best Home Center, your discount roofing headquarters. Dimensional roofing on sale for only $21 per bundle. That's just $63 per square with a wide variety of colors in stock. Cardwell Do It Best Center, 3205 Madison Avenue, just south of the Gateway Arch on Indy's South Side, and over 67,000 products available online with free shipping to their store at cardwellhomecenter.com.
Joyner Homes. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana and has a streamlined, fully custom home build process with an in-house team of architectural and design specialists. So you can focus on the fun stuff like cabinets and flooring and paint colors. They truly build unique, character-rich, smart design homes anywhere that you can bring a builder or on your own private lot. Check out their pricing online at joinerhomes.com. That's where you can also see some of the homes they've built. That's joinerhomes.com.
Oh, no. Stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Art tells a story, your story, and inspires others in your community to do the same. AARP is celebrating the undeniable impact and contributions of Black art and artists everywhere. We're thrilled to celebrate these creators over 50. Through their work and persistence, they make society a better place by bringing us all closer together. Learn more at aarp.org/Black Community.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
It's the Degenerates Next Door, a sports betting podcast for dudes.
Real dudes, not the fake Kardashian-looking like dudes you see on television doing this. The Degenerates Next Door. Download and subscribe today anywhere you get your podcast.
He gave me a preview of what's coming up this afternoon with the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, and boy, you're not going to want to miss it. Jason Hammer joining us in the studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning. And yes, we believe Nigel will be back today. Sometimes it's a crapshoot, right? But if he is, I think I was taking the high road yesterday. I did not say that he had herpes. I didn't say that he had scabies or anything like that. But I will get my revenge for him calling in sick. Today. Yes. We've got a little something lined up for that. Man, it's been kind of a dark news cycle, right? Between school shootings and all kinds of nonsense going on. Drones. So I figured let's have a little holiday fun here,
I like
right?
it. Yeah.
Let's do a little holiday fun.
Okay.
I have got a couple different Christmas mashups. Now, these aren't Hammer and Nigel records. These are other people's work, but I want to play them both and tell me which one you guys like the best, okay?
Okay.
So this first one is a little AC/DC mixed with Brenda Lee. Tell me if this moves the needle for you, Kev.
You got problems in your life of love. You got a broken heart. You stop dealing with your best friend. That's when the tears
It's called Dirty Deeds Around the Christmas Tree.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's your breakdown. Go.
Oh, look at that.
Right?
Yes.
Shockingly well done. As somebody who's worked in like audio production for most of my career, it's amazing what technology can do.
Right?
Because that would have been nearly impossible even 10 years ago for the greatest audio engineers in the world.
This is good.
I'm shocked. It's
Didn't miss
well
a beat,
done.
did it?
Turn it up, Kev. Big finish. Boom.
Nice job.
Okay, so that's a little throwback for the classic rock folks,
Love
right?
it.
Yeah.
This next one, for a little bit of a younger generation, I think
Okay.
this might be more in Kev's wheelhouse. This is a little Jingle Bells mixed with Lil Jon's Turn Down for What?
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, we're in the clear.
Here we go.
Turn down for what?
Oh, no.
Turn down for what?
Yeah. I love this.
All right, do you know which one you like better?
So far, I do. Yeah.
Okay, hey, I love Lil Jon. Very entertaining, always fun at the party. But Brenda Lee and AC/DC win it for me. That was just that's impressive.
I don't know. I'm ready to drop it low with Little Jon.
Okay,
Yeah.
so fine. We don't have to agree on that.
That was good.
Lil Jon's an interesting dude, right? Because I watch a lot of Bar Rescue. It's one of those shows that you can just turn on. It's in the background. It's like on all day, sometimes on the weekends. Like, you wouldn't expect Lil Jon to be friends with John Taffer, but they're totally buds.
Yeah.
And like he goes to bars and like critiques them and stuff for, Taffer. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd.
I love it. That was good work. Do you have more?
No, those are the two.
Okay,
Those
that
are
was
the
it.
two.
That takes
Yes.
a lot of work. AC/DC, Brenda Lee, and Little Jon.
Have your YouTube audience pick which one that they like the best, and they can vote on your YouTube stream.
Sounds good. You can do that by typing in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Now, are you guys going to be somewhere watching the Notre Dame game on Friday? Do you have plans?
The living room.
Yeah, so this is obviously, as a huge Notre Dame fan, this is a big game for me. For big games like this, I generally, you may think this is bad, I generally like to be by myself.
I'm with you.
I
am with you.
Like, I love sitting around with the family, if it's, even the Bears, because the Bears are terrible and I don't really care about the Bears anymore. But for a huge, big Notre Dame game that means a lot to me personally,
Right.
I like to be by myself.
I think that's better for everyone.
It's better for everyone because I'm going to yell and scream. I'm going to stand up in front of the TV. I'm going to yell and scream. I may throw something at some point in time. It's not going to be pretty for anybody, and everyone wins when I watch the big game by myself.
And I'm superstitious, too. Like, if I'm in a group of people, like, because I'm a Tennessee guy, right? Let's say Vols get out to a great start.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody telling me how great the start was. I treat it like a pitcher with a no-hitter. You ignore it, you just act like nothing's happened, and you're focused forward. Like, just don't jinx anything. Don't be the person that is the jinx, right?
And then you fill the room with a bunch of amateurs that don't know those kinds of rules and say something like jinxing the picture, and maybe that person you just happen to be married to, and then all of a sudden things go south in a hurry.
Shots fired.
I guess so. I know where I'll be Friday during the game, not in the family room. So I'm looking at the forecast for Friday, and it's going to be cold in South Bend.
It's gonna be great.
33 is the high, 25 is the low, and snow expected.
Okay, so that was the big question, right? Because I know they're going to be getting some sort of moisture. It's either going to be like freezing rain, which is awful, or the lake effect snow, depending on what the temperature does.
Could be a little both.
Could be a little both. But, man, if it gets to be that big snow, I feel like that favors Notre Dame a little bit with that running game.
Because they're, used to it, you think?
Well, they just power you on the ground. Like,
Gotcha.
IU's quarterback likes to throw the ball. He likes to air it out a little bit. And I think you can throw it in the rain. But, man, when that snow, like that heavy of a snow comes down, it affects the footing of the receivers. The timing is all screwed up.
Did the Degenerates Next Door podcast cover this game? I know Rob's gone already. Are you solo?
So, no, we're going to record it today. He'll be doing it virtually, but we're going to record it and have a pick on all of these playoff games for college this weekend. That podcast will drop right around 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Awesome. Okay, fantastic. What do you have coming up this afternoon? I mean, I know what you have coming up. What can you tell everybody you have coming up?
So, you may have heard the promo. I'm excited. The state of Indiana is going to kill a guy tonight. So, we're going to talk about that, and I think we're going to have a good time.
All right. Thanks, Hammer. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
It's not the future that I can see.
Hey, Pastor Nathan from Life Church.
Hey, Pastor Tina from Life Church.
I don't know about you, I'm so excited. Christmas is right around the corner.
You know what? Our Christmas experiences start on December 22nd on Sunday.
Yes, and we have Christmas Eve and Eve options for you too.
That's because people love options.
Well, you don't want to celebrate Christmas without reflecting on what Jesus has done.
Absolutely. So if you go to lifechurchin.com, you can find our times and locations. We hope to see you there.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
I've tried just about everything for my ED. Big name brands, awkward appointments, the whole deal. Nothing felt right for my lifestyle until I found Hardee's from Zelty. Pre-planning, waiting an hour, it took all the fun out of dating. But Hardee's changed everything. These dissolve fast, working in as little as 15 minutes, and last up to 36 hours. Plus, they cost up to 90% less than big name brands with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis to keep me going strong. No
appointments, no hassle, and completely discreet. That's right, Zelty is 100% online with fast, free shipping, plus powerful results that cost around 90% less. For a single guy like me, Hardee's made dating fun again. Text TERM to 200-300 to see if you qualify for fast-acting, long-lasting ED medication. Get your free medical review now. Text the word TERM to 200-300. That's TERM to 200-300. Don't wait. Text now. Hardee's from Zelty. TERM to 200-300. TERM to 200-300.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today.
Pat Sullivan here with Michaela from the Michaelis Corporation. How do you make sure your crawl space is dry, clean, and secure?
Have Michaelis come for a free inspection. We are a local family-owned business that's been serving Indy for over 39 years. Plus, we offer 0% down on crawl space work.
Make sure your crawl space is clean and dry. Foundations, basements, and crawl spaces. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIX-INDY.
This holiday, shop at Helzberg and get up to 50% off select jewelry, like a unique engagement ring to say,
I want to spend my life with you.
a stunning tennis bracelet that says,
You thought I forgot our anniversary?
or huggy hoop earrings that tell her,
See, I was listening.
Come to the Helzberg Holiday Sale and get up to 50% off select engagement rings and fine jewelry. A perfect gift designed with the love and care worthy of your story. Visit a Helzberg store or helzberg.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, police have made an arrest in the fatal stabbing of a young girl from yesterday, plus a lawsuit against a school district by the father of a dead boy. And Ryan Hedrick reports on how these x-rays are saving lives. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
A drone update. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News House lawmakers on the Intelligence Committee will get that from the FBI and the CIA later today after weeks of drone sightings, mostly in New Jersey. Republican Congressman Greg Steube tells Fox Business.
Obviously, the knowledge to the American people is important for people to know what these things are flying around their houses.
The Biden administration insists they have found no threat to public safety or foreign ties.
We've seen nothing that leads us to a different conclusion.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby also just told Fox.
Our assessment to date, based on the information that we've seen, the people we've talked to, the tips we've corroborated, this is lawful, legal aviation activity.
An accused serial killer in New York, Rex Heuermann, has been charged this morning in a 7th murder in what are called the Gilgo Beach killings. This victim's remains were found 24 years ago. 2 kids remain in critical condition that after being shot during a study hall.
At this point, police don't have an answer for why this 15-year-old girl came to school with a handgun yesterday and decided to shoot her teacher and classmates.
2 died, 6 were wounded. That teenage shooter killed herself. Fox's Garrett Tenney also reports from Madison, Wisconsin.
Detectives will be going through the security footage from inside the school and scouring the shooter's digital footprint to try to piece together a timeline of her last hours before she went to school. So far, the teenage girl's parents are cooperating with the investigation. Police searched their home yesterday, and today they are hoping to pinpoint how she got the gun and where it came from.
Americans shopped more than expected last month, which included Black Friday, so there may be more Christmas presents under trees this year. Retail sales rose 0.7% from October. Compared to a year ago, sales were up almost 4%. On Wall Street, though, there is selling. Knocking the NASDAQ off yesterday's record high close, the Dow is down 244 points, on pace to drop a 9th straight session. That hasn't happened since 1978. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An arrest for the stabbing. Radar is clear. It is 43 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A girl was killed in a stabbing early Monday near Arsenal Tech. IMPD Chief Tommy Thompson.
On their arrival, officers located a juvenile female
appearing to be a teenage juvenile. Unfortunately, that individual, upon IMS arrival, was pronounced deceased on scene.
He says they've arrested a teenage boy for the stabbing. A Greenfield man who lost his 10-year-old son to a suicide earlier this year is now suing the school district. He's claiming that they failed to protect fourth grader Sammy Teutsch from bullying. He died back in May. If you have ever been hampered by medical debt, well, Sam Snyderman with the United Way of Central Indiana says you're not alone. That's why he says he and other lawmakers want to give Hoosiers a lift.
I think we also have some opportunities to limit damage to patients' credit history by preventing medical debt from being reported against patients' credit scores.
He says he'd like to see more uniformity among healthcare providers so that things can be less complicated. This quick, affordable test is a top choice for bone care. Ryan Hedrick explains.
A DEXA scan uses low-level X-rays to check bone density, but Professor Joey Wallace at Purdue University, Indianapolis, says too many X-rays over time can be harmful.
There are blood tests that can reveal metabolic issues with your bones. There are byproducts from the breakdown of bone that end up in your blood and your urine, and so those are often used to track bone disease.
Wallace says DEXA scan is the gold standard in bone density testing, but he says diet and exercise play a role in keeping bones healthy. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Dick Van Arsdale passed away on Tuesday. He was 81. Van Arsdale had a long career at Manual High School and then Indiana, and then 12 seasons in the NBA with the Knicks and the Suns. He and his twin brother Tom shared Mr. Indiana basketball honors back in 1961. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's full-service jewelry store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 17th, 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. My name is Casey Daniels. Rob Kendall is off today, and Jim Roberts is in the studio joining me. Let's talk about Representative Victoria Spartz. Yeah, she declares she will not sit on any committees or participate in the Republican caucus in the 119th Congress. She emphasized that she'll remain a registered Republican, but she'll not engage in committees or the caucus until Republican leadership demonstrates effective governance.
We really...
It's a bit of finger wagging, it seems like.
She's trying to, deflect from all the criticism she's getting about this. We shouldn't be surprised about this. This is the same Congresswoman who voted present many, many times in the Kevin McCarthy speakership race. She said she was not going to run for re-election and then changed her mind.
Yeah.
And now she gets in there and she doesn't want any of these committee chairs. I went down a rabbit hole on this yesterday, and Victoria Spartz, like I said, shouldn't be surprised by any of this. But what I found out about committee seats in Congress...
Costs money.
It costs money. So not only are these politicians constantly raising money for their own re-elections, if you get put on a committee, you have to pay, quote, dues to the National Republican Congressional Committee or the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee somewhere. I mean, so this is what... articles are talking about how much it costs, how much you have to pay in dues. So for lesser valuable committee seats like Judiciary Committee, that's just kind of a boring one. $200,000 is about the due you have to pay. But if you want the good ones like Ways and Means, where the money gets spent, it can cost you upwards of $500,000.
Yeah. So she's been really critical of the current state of Congress, and she says that she doesn't want to be involved in any circuses and prefers focusing on meaningful work to save the republic. When this first came out, a lot of people's reaction was, why run then? You're not going to be representing us. Why are you doing it? It's almost like she just wants to be invited to the party so that she can decline. Say, oh, no, thank you.
Not going to go, but I want to get invited.
But it makes a lot more sense when you dig a little deeper and figure out how the sausage gets made. And there's rumors that she just didn't want to pay the donation to the RNC to be on this committee chair.
And that's a little bit of a disingenuous complaint. I mean, being on a committee is a smaller aspect of being a representative in Congress. What we're really paying her to do is to go there and vote on legislation. So show up, vote on every single vote, and that's 90% of a congressman's job.
Yeah. Okay, so she says she intends to work closely with Thomas Massie from Kentucky and also the Department of Government Efficiency. And she, like you mentioned, the Judiciary Committee, she did serve on that. She was also on the House Republican Policy Committee and also the U.S. Commission on Security and Cooperation in Europe and some other subcommittees. But now what? She's saying, I don't have the money. I'm here to help Hoosiers, but I can't afford to do this.
Yeah, and who knows what the real truth to all of this is.
Is it a stunt?
Well, I mean, she threw out a couple of brand names like Thomas Massie and Doge, which, of course, conservatives love. So all you have to do is say that, I'm going to work with Thomas Massie, and I can't wait for Doge to come and get enacted to kind of deflect from the fact that she's getting a lot of criticism on this. It's tough to tell because she's not giving us a straight answer as to what the real reasons are. But I think this is a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, we really want her there to vote on legislation.
She warned that the country's headed for a fiscal crisis and stressed the need for courage and structural changes in Congress to address this.
If you felt that way, wouldn't you want to be on a committee to have even more influence over those problems?
Especially Ways and Means, which controls the money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about some more fiscal crisis, and that would be our neighbors to the north. The Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, facing pretty much the biggest test of his political career. This after his finance minister, who is one of his most powerful and loyal ministers, just up and quit. Talk about just resigning. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. Well, this woman is out, and it sent the Canadian Parliament into a tailspin. So Polymarket, by the way, has betting odds at there's an 80% chance that Trudeau will resign before April. Many people thought it was going to happen before COB yesterday.
Yeah, he might not make it to 2025 at this rate. Look, I'm sure a lot of this is driven by Trump being elected because Trump is stirring the pot as Trump always does. And look, I like Canada. They're adorable. I mean, come on. His finance minister who resigned yesterday, after the Trump election, she got all huffy and puffy talking about how they're not going to be pushed around by Donald Trump. Let's take a look at facts here. There are about 35 million people in Canada. That's 1/10 of the population of the United States. Their per capita GDP is less than the United States. Their housing costs are more. Their overall cost of living is more. Canada's got a lot of problems, and the fact that Trump is threatening tariffs just means even more potential problems for Canada. I mean, it's a borderline socialist state as it exists right now, and they're having a lot of problems. This finance minister was supposed to present this report to the nation about the fiscal plan for 2025, and the morning before that report was to be delivered, she resigns and no report.
So Trudeau may or may not be having a press conference today at 2:00. He might address Parliament. We'll see. But their conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, I believe that's how you say it.
You nailed it, yeah.
He's calling out Trudeau, saying Canada has gotten out of control under his leadership.
Mr. Trudeau is being held in office by one man, Jagmeet Singh. A fifth of Liberal MPs have written a letter for him to resign. His deputy prime minister has walked out on him. His housing minister has quit. That on top of numerous other female ministers who stormed out after his appalling mistreatment and abuse and dishonesty towards them. 80% of Canadians have lost confidence in this prime minister. So why is Jagmeet Singh making the entire country wait for him to get his pension? That is the question today.
So Jagmeet Singh, the guy that he's referring to, he's obviously an opposition leader. He did, by the end of the day, call for Trudeau's resignation. But the Conservatives are now in Canada, they're demanding an election. And Trump and his talk of tariffs, they clearly have sent the Canadian Parliament into a tailspin.
This is as serious as it gets. The finance minister quit hours before she was supposed to do this, and she doesn't have confidence in this prime minister. No one does. This man is a disgrace, and we need an election now.
So they do have a new finance minister who was sworn in, and they say that there's $61.9 billion. There's a deficit in Canada of $61.9 billion.
It's a bad idea for Canada to pick a fight with the United States. Like I said, they have 10% of the population with us. They have a significantly less per capita GDP. Trump starts rattling sabers and talking about tariffs, and so Canada decided, we can do our own tariffs, and you buy some energy from us. Look, and there's a lot of trade that goes back and forth, but at the end of the day, Canada needs the United States much more than the United States needs Canada. Canada imports huge amounts of grain and meat from the United States. If this wants to get nasty, Trump could literally starve Canada by slapping massive tariffs on food exports. So all of this is bad news for Trudeau's Liberal coalition government. I can't see how he survives this. Pierre is standing in the wings from the opposition and the Conservative Party. The Canadians, things have not been good in Canada with their cost of living and their cost of housing. And let's keep in mind, Justin Trudeau is the same guy that when a couple of years ago, they had that trucker protest in Canada.
Yep.
Peaceful protest. I'm not talking about Summer of Love protest where people are murdered and businesses are burned. I'm talking about a peaceful trucker protest. And he responded by forcing Canadian banks to freeze the bank accounts of those protesters. That's the type of governance that Canada has been living under. And I can't imagine the Canadian citizens are going to tolerate it much more.
So there's this Canadian psychologist. His name is Jordan Peterson. Pretty popular guy.
Yeah.
He has announced plans to move to the U.S., citing his dissatisfaction with Canada's government and conflicts that he's experiencing up there. He described Canada's political environment as increasingly uncomfortable, and this is what he had to say about moving out of Canada.
And welcome to moving to America formally.
I guess that's what happened, isn't it?
It is.
Uh-oh. Is this the big announcement?
I mean, why not? Might as well let the people know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
There are decided advantages to being here. I like where I'm living a lot. It's close to you. We have lots of work to do. But the issue with the college of psychologists is very annoying, to say the least. And the new legislation that Liberals are attempting to push through, Bill C-63, I'd be living in a totalitarian hellhole if that legislation passes, and it could well pass. The tax situation is out of hand. The government in Canada at the federal level is incompetent beyond belief. And it's become uncomfortable for me in my neighborhood in Toronto.
So the bill that he's talking about, Bill C-63, is called the Online Harm Act, and pretty much it's regulating content online. He was banned from Twitter for misgendering somebody. Old Twitter.
He's back on.
Yeah. He also criticized a plus-size model, and that led to a lot of tension between him and the College of Psychologists there in Canada.
So Jordan Peterson and his battles with the Canadian government go back a number of years. His first battle was with a bill called C-16, which in Canada would have required everyone in Canada to use the proper gender of the person they're referring to. penalty by going to jail if you don't. So if you misgendered somebody, you could potentially go to jail. And
when you say proper gender, you're talking about the gender they want to be called.
Yes, I'm speaking from
not the biological gender.
From the perspective of the people writing the law, in their perspective, the proper gender, not necessarily the biological gender. And that kind of, the battles that he had with the Canadian government over that law really kind of brought him to a media forefront. And he's been pretty big everywhere. He's got a very popular podcast, very popular on social media. And then again, he ran into the Canadian government based on things he said. He's a clinical psychologist, licensed psychologist in the country of Canada. And based on some things that he said, he had to go back and do additional training to retain his medical license. And that's part of the totalitarian aspect that he's talking about, and why he wants to leave and actually has left Canada. He's lived there his whole life.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. He had to undergo social media training by the College of Psychologists so that he could post online again.
Right. This is a guy
you need to get this certificate before we're going to allow you back on the platform.
This is a guy that has millions of YouTube subscribers, millions of followers on Twitter. He's built this from absolutely nothing, pretty much talking about psychology. I mean, he's only kind of been brought into the culture wars in the last few years. He built this million YouTube subscriber following just broadcasting these psychology classes that he was teaching at college.
And how about this? You've got all of these woke people here in the United States saying, I'm leaving, I'm going to Canada. And then you got this guy in Canada who has this empire, and he's like, oh boy, I'm out of here.
And by the way, the woke people in the United States that talk about leaving never seemed to actually pull the trigger on it. He didn't announce this. He wasn't like, well, if Trudeau gets reelected, I'm moving to America. He just looked around and said, this place stinks. I'm getting out of here. Then mentioned it after the fact that he already moved. So he's not virtue signaling on any of this like the leftists in America that talk about moving to Britain or moving to Canada and then never doing it.
Right. He actually took action. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Donald Trump has invited President Xi to the inauguration. Your thoughts, Nigel?
It's total power move.
This is what I expect. On the day of the inauguration, he forces President Xi to eat McDonald's. Like when he brought RFK Jr. into his cabinet, has to sit down and eat a Big Mac. Like, wouldn't you love to see President Xi sitting down eating a Big Mac?
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Life is a collection of moments that last forever, so make them matter and make them count with a symbol of everlasting love. A diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Guys, what are you waiting for? For that special Christmas gift, let Pierce Jewelers bring that sparkle back into her life with a diamond from Pierce Jewelers. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
If you've been watching any NFL games recently, you probably noticed some players are sporting a white, or in some cases, a black horseshoe-shaped collar around their necks. But what are they? They're called the Q collar.
Yes.
And this is a device worn by athletes to help protect their brain, especially during head impacts. It's supposed to create a tighter fit of the brain inside the skull.
Yes, and this is different than the Guardian caps, which you've seen those kind of come into the NFL, especially in preseason and in training camp. That's like this additional layer that sits on top of the helmet. It looks a little funny, but and now they've got the Q collar, which is trying to prevent specific injuries. I think you're going to continue to see this. Look, we know that CTE in the NFL is a huge problem. A lot of these retired NFL athletes, have a lot of health problems after they retire. So I think we're going to kind of see them experimenting with these different types of equipment to try and reduce head injuries as much as they can, because it's clear that the players and the NFL don't want to schedule fewer games. In fact, they want to do more games. We're now up to 17 games a year. I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that in the next couple of years we'll be in an 18-game regular season. And I don't blame the NFL for this. I certainly don't blame the players. Hey, look, if the players don't want to play 17 or 18 games, they have a union with union representation that they vote on. The players themselves vote on. So they have voted for union representation that says, yes, we are willing to take the additional physical risk by adding a 17th game and possibly an 18th game. So everybody in the NFL is on board with this. So I think you're going to keep seeing more of these experimental, I don't even know what to call them, accessories, I guess.
Medical device?
Yeah, to try and do what they can to limit injuries like this, and that's why you've seen the change to the kickoff rule. Look, a lot of people hate the new NFL kickoff rule that got instituted, but we're going to keep experimenting. The new kickoff rule is designed to reduce those high-impact collisions that can cause serious injuries. We're going to keep seeing rule changes. We're going to keep seeing equipment changes because we're not going to be playing fewer football games. That's just a matter of fact.
So there's some experts who say that the Q collar is more like a seatbelt for the brain, and the FDA has cautioned that, against overstimulating its effectiveness in preventing concussions. It's not a preventative measure. It's just supposed to help if a situation occurs. So much so that the FDA has approved it, and now the U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command has awarded a $2.8 million contract to study if the Q collar can help reduce blast-induced traumatic brain injuries among soldiers. So now the government is going to get in on this and have it be a part of standard issue equipment.
That's interesting. That kind of flips the script. Usually you see government create
and it goes down to
and
sports.
Then it goes to the private sector. This time the private sector doing it, and the government sitting there going, we may want to look into this for the military.
Yeah, they're still, researching it, questioning the reliability of it. They're doing this all through different brain scans, and they note that there's more research needed for it, but that's something that your money is being spent on. $2.8 million for Q collars for soldiers.
Sounds like that's the kind of spending I think we can get behind.
Yeah, keep them safe. Absolutely. Okay, so where beards grow, strong feelings follow.
Oh, what?
I'm just saying.
It's just a coincidence that we're doing this story while I'm filling in for Rob today, and I've recently
big beard grown
a stupid-looking big bushy beard. Yeah.
So beards becoming more prominent everywhere.
Hey, we got our first vice president.
Right.
With a beard in over 100 years.
So why are beards so popular right now? And you see For a while there, it seemed like it was the sensitive ponytail guys who would have the scruff. But
man bun guy?
Man bun guy. But now it seems that the beard is a mark of a conservative man.
Absolutely. I think this goes back to this cultural shift that has occurred where it's really easy for certain women and the left to crap on men. And they've been doing that for a long time. And part of the Donald Trump election was a pushback against that. And I think anything that has to do with masculinity is having a second wind right now and is coming into more prominence. So yeah, I think whether it's blue collar jobs, whether it's beards, whether it's, being the man of the house and earning the income so that the wife can stay at home with the children, anything that goes along with those traditional masculine roles, having another moment and getting a higher profile right now. Beards are just another part of that.
So there's a couple other points that are added to this, but I think you're onto something there, that it's very similar to like the Victorian era when women were, advocating for more power, and beards were seen as a sign of strength and masculinity. But they've also become a natural extension of your face, reshaping your face, enhancing your jawline, all things to sculpt your body and achieve masculine attention.
Okay, I want your honest assessment right now. The current state of my beard, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'm giving you a good show of it right now. You can watch the Kendall and Casey show on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type Kendall and Casey in there. What are your thoughts on my beard as it sits right now?
Yeah, let me see you. Yeah, it's getting long. Have you trimmed it recently?
I trimmed it this morning.
Okay.
I trim it almost every day. Just get the flyaways out of there.
Right.
I said so this started early fall, and you said, hey, you should grow your beard in again.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, but if I'm doing it, I'm going.
You're all in.
I'm all in, and I'm going for the full James Harden, the full Duck Dynasty. I mean, I'm talking. This is like a several-year commitment if I can tolerate the itchiness that long. And so far,
you made it past the itchy stage.
I've made it past the itchy stage.
You were twisting the mustache part the other day to make it like a
Kevin.
a
I was doing
handlebar.
so like I've let it go so long that if I want to, I can kind of make a little handlebar mustache.
It's kind of fun to mess with the facial hair.
Yeah, and I'm not a beard guy. I've grown a beard a couple times.
You play with
before,
it all the time.
but I just can't stop.
No, I have to ask you, do you use beard oil?
I have it's not necessarily an oil. It's I believe the label is a beard balm. It's kind of like it's almost soapy in texture, but you kind of put it on your fingers and your body heat warms it up, and then you put it in there. Yes,
and it's just to make the whisker soft, right? Manageable.
There's so many. You want to talk about beard balms? Let's get into it here. Sure, that's part of it. It's to make them a little softer and manageable. It's also to keep the skin underneath for drying out. Mine is the lovely scent of sandalwood.
Oh, nice.
So there's actually a nice arrow.
I asked you the other day, I said, you're wearing some cologne, and you said no, and then I got a little closer, and I said, nope, it's the beard balm.
It's the beard balm. That's what's doing it. Sandalwood. It's lovely. I enjoy it. So I'm a beard guy now.
Nice.
Here I am.
I use moisturizer and beard oil. Now, I don't have a beard like yours, but for what I do have, it does help like keep it softer and hydrated.
And I was thinking that, okay, this is going to be a lot less maintenance. Not going to have to shave as much. It's just as much maintenance with keeping up, whether it's the beard oils and the beard balms and the itchy skin underneath. And I'm constantly having to trim it and cut the neck beard portion and the flyaways. It is just as much work as shaving every day.
It is.
Okay, so a couple more reasons that beards are popular right now is there are less physical jobs, especially with like AI. You don't need all of the equipment and the rugged clothing. So that's another reason that more men are sporting beards. And also authenticity. They're seen as a symbol of authenticity, and that's a big contrast compared to, the fake tan or the coiffed hair.
Or the man bun.
Yeah, if you're a natural dude, you're authentic. Apparently, you grow a beard.
Well, congratulations, Casey. You're sitting in this studio with a couple of authentic dudes. Kevin and I both rocking beards.
They're manly men. All right, coming up, we have to talk about Martha Stewart's eggnog recipe.
Yeah, so you said, you told me yesterday, okay, you have to watch this Martha Stewart eggnog video. I was like, really? I have to? Oh, I'm glad you showed this to me.
Yeah.
It will deliver, believe me.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC. Hey, Rob, did you know that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years?
Casey, I refuse to believe that our government might be letting the public down at large.
Well, according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And that's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis.
It's from Bill Demery. He's your retirement guy in Indy. He's also our retirement guy. We trust Bill, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
That's 317-932-9912.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting their house in order. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. With the General Assembly starting soon, House Speaker Todd Houston has named State Rep Tim O'Brien of Evansville to lead the House Ways and Means K-12 subcommittee.
As we head into a budget session, we will take a deep dive into school funding and explore the best ways to financially support each child's education responsibly.
O'Brien says a large portion of your tax dollars funds K-12 education, covering costs like school buildings, special programs, and teacher salaries. The White House says the recent wave of drone sightings in the Northeast is due to drones that are legally and lawfully in the air. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said Monday that there is no national security threat and that the activity seems to be from commercial, hobbyist, or law enforcement drones. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
And Doug.
Limu wanted me to tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. He says because we all like to save a buck. No, okay, he said with the extra cash, you can lease a new truck. Wait, he said he went to middle school with geese and ducks? Actually, I think Limu just said squawk.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
From sugar cookie crumbs in the kitchen to pine needles under the tree, count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Power up the holiday and give a gift from the top of their wish list. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Was $159.99 MSRP. Includes battery and charger. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Express the heartwarming message of Christmas this year. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be that special moment that says, I love you. Remember, shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Do you want to talk about Martha Stewart's eggnog recipe?
I
or
do.
Should we talk about Indianapolis having a very busy year in 2024?
Let's start with Martha Stewart's eggnog recipe because it is booze forward.
Okay, and because Kevin's playing some Christmas music. So Martha Stewart posted this recipe for her eggnog, and I just, it struck me because I want to see if anything stands out to you.
Well, I just can't imagine a Christmas without my very favorite eggnog, and it is truly a family tradition. And so you beat up your egg yolks and gradually add 1.5 cups of superfine sugar. And now you're going to add 1 quart of whole milk and 1 quart of heavy cream. And now 3 cups of bourbon. I warned you, it's pretty strong. But you only drink a little of this. And we need 1/2 cup of dark rum and, believe it or not, 2 cups of cognac, a good cognac. Now, just before serving, beat the egg whites.
Okay,
Now,
she goes on and dollop the whipped cream on top of it once you put it in the punch bowl. Anything stand out to you on that, the Martha Stewart eggnog recipe?
Yeah, she kind of soft salt. Okay, 3 cups of bourbon.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot, and she even says that. And then the rum.
1/2 cup of dark rum.
And then the cognac
2
on
cups
top of
of
it.
cognac. And she goes on to say, only 1 glass per person. No kidding. She started off the segment by saying, I can't imagine a Christmas without it. She also can't remember a Christmas without it.
They should call it Martha Stewart's eggnog jungle juice because she's just dumping everything in there.
It's like the Long Island of eggnogs, right? Just a little bit of everything goes in there.
And she soft sells 3 cups of bourbon. I know that sounds like a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
Rum.
Then
Okay.
more.
Okay, fine. No. Cognac too.
Okay, so that got me thinking, what are the drinks that you would associate with Christmas time?
We talked about this last night. I struggled to come up. Obviously, eggnog is your number one. If you're going to create a top 3 Christmas, time drink, eggnog's got to be number one. I really couldn't come up with anything else other than kind of like a hot toddy.
Yeah. What is a hot toddy? You said you liked hot toddies. What's in that, Kevin?
Like it's tea, black tea, I think specifically, and then whiskey and a little honey.
Okay.
That's how I've
Cinnamon
made it.
usually for Christmas time. I've never cared for hot toddy. I don't like hot alcohol.
Oh.
I like my alcohol
I do.
full. I know you do.
Like an Irish coffee.
You love an Irish coffee. I do not like hot alcohol drinks. I like cold alcohol drinks. So hot toddies have never been for me.
Okay, so I've got eggnog. You got the hot toddy, milled wine.
Okay, that's kind of a Christmassy.
People put that in a punch bowl. Isn't that just like spiced warm wine?
It's spiced wine usually. Yes.
Something you cook over the stove. You've got hot chocolate.
But
clearly a wintertime Christmassy drink with the marshmallows and the candy cane.
I guess I think of that more as not Christmas specific, but just cold weather specific.
Just winter. Yeah. You could put a little Bailey's in there, I guess. And
you could put Bailey's in anything you want.
Yeah, I like to do.
And I do.
And you do.
Yeah, I love to do coffee with Bailey's, usually around the holiday season. That's kind of a go-to drink for me.
That says Christmas to you. I thought of this mainly because of the flavor and the color, but I don't think it's traditionally considered a Christmas drink. But creme de menthe, because it's green and it's spearminty. But that's one of those things you either make some sort of fancy beverage with it or you just sip it solo.
I think all of the liqueurs and cordials have a kind of holiday space for them, whether it's Drambuie or Grand Marnier or creme de menthe, those sorts of things tend to be, I'm going to guess on this, don't have any data to back it up, their sales are going to be strongest around Christmas time.
Okay, now the one drink that you might not consider to be a Christmas drink would be your original taste classic Coca-Cola. I love Coca-Cola.
So there's actually a really interesting story about this that we can thank Coca-Cola for giving Santa Claus the cultural presence it has today in America.
Yeah.
There were these, Santa Claus was around, but so Coca-Cola, this is about 100 years ago, realized that people only drank Coca-Cola in the summer. When it was hot outside.
Yeah.
And so their executives were thinking, well, we got to get people to drink this stuff in the wintertime. How are we going to do it? And so they latched on to Santa Claus and included him in all of their marketing. And that really kind of catapulted and brought the Santa Claus figure into a much higher level of the American pop culture, and that still continues today. In fact, you've got a can of Coke sitting on the desk right there.
Oh, and it does have Santa Claus on it.
Santa Claus is on it.
Yeah. Original taste. Is there anything better than a Coca-Cola, by the way?
It is my favorite.
I mean, it does everything. If you're not feeling good, have a Coke. It'll settle your stomach. You're thirsty, have a Coke. You need to clean the toilet, use Coke. It does it all.
It's amazing. It's very versatile, and that's true. People do use
Coke as a cleaning
Coke
product.
as
What does that say for your insides?
As a bathroom clean. Those scientists don't know what they're talking about. Just drink it.
So Rob Kendall, he loves Pepsi. He says that is his flavor. I could not disagree with him more on this. If you go to a restaurant and you say, I'll have a Coke, and they give you that sheepish look and they say, oh, we only have Pepsi, what do?
I go complete.
I say, oh, Dr. Pepper then.
I go either water or iced tea, something completely non-carbonated.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite the American brand, right? Globally, doesn't it just say USA to you?
Well, it's got to be one of the most recognizable American brands globally because it's so affordable and distributed everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this earlier. McDonald's is very popular around the world, but really in Asia, KFC is the big fast food product that's used mostly in China and Japan. American cars don't have that big of a presence around the world because most countries put tariffs on them and they end up becoming too expensive. So, Coca-Cola easily.
And I was thinking, okay, Harley Davidson, that's a big American brand, but no, not around the world, and not everybody rides motorcycles or owns one.
In fact, very few people own
the
or ride motorcycles.
Price point for Coca-Cola, although it has gotten more expensive like everything else, it's something that more people can afford.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's got to be one of the best known American brands worldwide.
I did my little survey before we got on the air, and I asked you and Carl and Kevin their favorite soft drink. And Kevin was the only one who said it wasn't Coke. So 3 out of 4 radio hosts agree.
In
Coca-Cola.
In the WIBC studio at that moment.
Such a scientific research project. I mean, you can't doubt it.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, I would like to add that I do love Mexican Coke because they use the sugar cane.
There you go.
It's not
better
good
than
for you, but
than the corn syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that mean it's healthier for you? It's better
no,
for you?
I think
I know it's really not good for you at all.
Both are pretty bad, but the sugar cane tastes great.
Yeah. Okay, so when we come back, we have to discuss how Indianapolis had a very busy year in 24 and things to look forward to in 2025. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnacast, the left clutches the pearls and we sit back and laugh. See you at 7 p.m.
Let's talk about something that's on everyone's mind, staying safe online. From tech scams to data leaks, we've all heard the horror stories. But here's the good news. McAfee Total Protection has your back. Hey there, it's Casey Daniels. With McAfee Total Protection, you won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. Not a tech expert? No problem. McAfee makes it simple to protect yourself from even the sneakiest online scammers. You can shop, bank, and stream online with confidence. McAfee's got your devices, your privacy, and your identity covered. Right now, get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 for your first year. That's right, $39.99. So visit McAfee.com/online protection. Stay safe online, worry less. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
This winter, cozy up with a match made in Cocoa Heaven. Introducing Swiss Miss Schmallow, the perfect pairing of Schmallow, the original toasted marshmallow whiskey from Hotel Tango Distillery, and Swiss Miss Hot Cocoa. You've tried Schmallow before. Now Hotel Tango Distillery is taking it up a notch with this fantastic collaboration with Swiss Miss. Imagine rich, creamy cocoa swirling with a hint of toasted marshmallow warmth. It's a sip of comfort like no other. From cold weather gatherings to quiet nights in, Swiss Miss Schmallow Schmallow is here to add a touch of sweet nostalgia with an adult twist. Warm up your season. Grab Swiss Miss Schmallow before it's gone. Find it at your local store and toast to the taste of winter. Swiss Miss Schmallow, where cozy meets a little bit of kick. Sip responsibly. Must be 21 or older to purchase alcohol. Available where fine spirits are sold. HotelTangoDistillery.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my entire family's obsessed with all things Wicked, but my kids can't stop watching the trailer, and now they're having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Do you think our internet can handle all of the streaming and memeing going on?
Well, we've engineered our Xfinity gateways to handle hundreds of devices at once, so they can all stay magically connected.
Wow. Are you a wizard?
I wish. No, just someone that won't let a bad connection burst your internet bubble. Now through December 22nd, get thrillifyingly fast 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract and free Wi-Fi equipment included. Plus, learn how to get a free 5G phone with Xfinity Mobile at Xfinity.com. Switch today and keep the magic going from your screen to the big screen. And see Wicked in theaters now. Restrictions apply. Requires payable split on auto-pay stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply. Currently $56 a month for internet service and $15 for Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Pat Sullivan here. Fire emergency? I've had one. If you do, call Michaelis. Owner Richard Michaelis explains why.
Michaelis is local and family owned. 39 years of experience with 24/7, 365 response. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified, restoring your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
And Michaelis helps you through the insurance process, giving you peace of mind. Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com.
If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now. 800-428-7054. 800-428-7054. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $398. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. And you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $398. What are you waiting for? Call 800-428-7054. 800-428-7054 and give us your answer.
The preceding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
So we just had a big conversation about Christmas beverages or things that are associated with wintertime. And somebody sent me a note saying that the Tom and Jerry is a hot Christmas time cocktail. So I had to look it up. And you beat egg whites in cream of tartar until they're stiff. And then you put in egg yolks, sugar, rum, spices. And then you combine that with cognac and aged rum. And then you finish it off with hot milk. It sounds very similar to eggnog.
It sounds extraordinarily complicated. That's like 15 ingredients to make one cocktail.
It's called the Tom and Jerry cocktail. I've never heard of that before. Love the cartoon. Don't know how I feel about the beverage.
Grasshopper is what people in the YouTube chat are saying.
Yes.
Use cream de menthe, the classic cream de menthe drink.
They're so smart in that YouTube channel.
Yes.
And then somebody else sent a note saying, I'm just the opposite. For all the establishments that serve Coke, I turn my nose and ask for iced tea or water. Pepsi for the win.
I just can't even imagine that there are people that exist where they prefer Pepsi.
Well, they're out there and they're walking among us. Okay, so Indianapolis Airport hit record 10 million passengers this year. Big, busy year in 24. Over 10 million people traveled through the Indianapolis International Airport. It was the highest in its history.
So, as someone who traveled for a living, I mean, my previous job, I would travel over 100 nights a year flying all over the country. So I'm very versed at all airports across the country. We are very fortunate that we have a very good airport here in
fact, you're going to be getting at the airport tomorrow, aren't you?
I'll be at the airport tomorrow getting on a plane. But it really is a great, nice, mid-sized airport. There are so many terrible, awful dumpster fire airports across the country. We're very fortunate that Indianapolis has a good one.
You need to stand in front of the NDY that's at the airport. You make the letter I.
Yeah, right
for
before the
Indy.
ticket gates. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So
yeah.
there are many reasons that there were so many passengers coming into the airport this past year, starting off with the NBA All-Star Game.
Right.
Then you had spring break, the total solar eclipse, Indy 500, Memorial Day weekend. First half of the year brought in 5.2 million passengers. And then June and July were the airport's busiest months ever, nearly 2 million passengers. And then August broke records as well, 824,000 travelers. And then you had the summer events like the Olympic time trials, and you had the National Eucharistic Congress was here, the Brickyard, Gen Con added to more numbers. And then, of course, you had the Taylor Swift concert and Thanksgiving travel. And then December began strong with the Big Ten Championship.
I'm sure Caitlin Clark was part of that as well, selling out 20,000, 17,000 seats at Bainbridge. So you had a couple of things that were either one-time events this year or new this year, starting with the NBA All-Star Game. We're not going to have that every year. That was a one-time or, once every 10 years, how often we get it. Then we had the solar eclipse. Not going to have another solar eclipse in a long time. And then new this year, Caitlin Clark playing on the Indiana Fever. Those are three big things that I'm sure brought people on airplanes to Indianapolis. Obviously in big numbers. Hey, nobody does big sporting events like the city of Indianapolis.
So some events that are projected to bring more passengers through the Indianapolis airport next year, the WWE Royal Rumble. February 1st, Lucas Oil Stadium.
I think I'm going to that, by the way.
Oh, are you?
I haven't told you that. No, I got a guy that messaged me, and he's like, hey, I think I'm going to, he's in Cincinnati. He's like, I think I'm going to come to town. We should go to the Royal Rumble. I was
Okay.
like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun for you. You've also got the Big Ten Women's Tournament coming up in March, the Big Ten Men's Tournament, the Indy 500, of course. Now, this year, we've got the 2025, rather. We have the WNBA All-Star Game. Not the NBA All-Star Game, the WNBA All-Star Game. That's scheduled for July 19th at Cambridge. Gen Con again. And then you've got that Live Golf Tournament.
Oh, right. That's going to be
in
here.
August. Yeah.
Hey, we've got 10 million people through the airport in 2024. Sounds like we may have a shot to break that in 2025.
And then, of course, you do have the 25 Big Ten Football Championship scheduled for December 6th at Lucas Oil Stadium.
That was probably a lot of flights or more than normal because neither team was anywhere near Indianapolis. You had Oregon and Penn State playing in that. So if fans of those teams wanted to
get
come
on a
here,
flight.
they were probably getting on a flight as opposed to normally it's Michigan or Ohio State or even Michigan State, somebody a little bit more regional where they could drive here.
Okay, a recent study has determined the most Instagrammable holiday markets in the country. And guess what? Yes, Carmel's Chris Kindle Market ranked 5th for the most Instagrammable market.
We went to that last year.
Yeah,
it was the first time we ever went to that.
And we took a picture.
We did. Photographic evidence of us being there. If you don't believe me, I can prove it.
I don't know if I put it on Instagram. I know I put it on Twitter. So
it was great.
It's also a Twitterable, Xable.
It was a lot of fun. They do a really good job. A lot of people. It's a lot of people. So just kind of know that going in, you're going to be surrounded by a lot of the public.
Now, it's the Chris Kindle Market in Chicago that is in the number one position. But the one here in Indy, out of all of the top 5, it is the smallest market. The other ones are New York and California, a couple in New York.
Carmel does a great job. It's funny. I've got a friend of mine that is actually coming from Chicago, where they have the number 1. He's coming to Indianapolis this weekend specifically just to go to the Carmel Chris Kindle Market.
Maybe he'll take a picture and put it on Instagram.
Maybe he will. How would we know he was there if he didn't do that? Is it even real life unless you put it on Instagram? Does it exist? Is it real life unless you put it on Instagram?
It's not on social media. It's not real.
Can't prove anything.
Something. Top New Year's resolutions to use in 2025. Of course, these last 3 items you can find at WIBC.com, articles for all of them. The number 1 New Year's resolution for 2025.
Hold on. Lose weight.
No.
What?
Yeah, it's close. It goes along with it.
Eat healthier?
Yeah, you're getting there. Warmer.
Drink less alcohol?
More water.
Sober?
Drink more.
That's the number 1 resolution.
Drink more water. Number 2, improve your sleep habits. Number 3, exercise regularly. Number 4, digital detox.
That's a terrible New Year's resolution. Drink more water. It's not that hard. It's everywhere. Just get a glass from the sink and drink it.
It is Indiana's official drink, isn't it? Water?
Our beverage, we did do that. Yeah.
I think you think it's milk. It's not. It's water.
It's water.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
I've tried just about everything for my ED. Big name brands, awkward appointments, the whole deal. Nothing felt right for my lifestyle until I found Hardee's from Zelty. Pre-planning, waiting an hour, it took all the fun out of dating. But Hardee's changed everything. These dissolve fast, working in as little as 15 minutes and last up to 36 hours. Plus, they cost up to 90% less than big name brands with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis to keep me going strong. No appointments, no hassle, and completely